local podcaster Danny Polishuk has recently made his priorities abundantly clear that going on a honeymoon with his wife is more important than this podcast. Polishuk has also sent me a video explaining what a good time he's having on that vacation in order to, I guess, rub it in our faces.
What's up, fellas? I'm just here on my honeymoon and please help me. Please, you have to get me out of here. I don't want to do a couples massage again. Anyways, have a good time, guys.
Luckily, regardless of Polishuk's lack of integrity, commitment, and loyalty to this show, I have an excellent podcast planned for today, and he can enjoy being whipped overseas.
The boys.
It's the BOYSCAST.
The lads.
It's the BOYSCAST.
The dudes.
Prepare yourself for BOYSCAST.
The bros.
It's the BOYSCAST.
The homies.
It's the BOYSCAST.
The dudes.
Experience the BOYSCAST.
The boys. Cast.
This is the BOYSCAST. Danny Polishuk is on leave, on maternity leave, on the wedding. I don't know where he went.
Finally had the baby.
Antigua, not the baby, but they are both getting fat, so it is what it is.
Yeah, okay.
We're here with Robbie the Fire, Chris from Brooklyn. We had technical difficulties. We powered through them. Now we're sitting on top of the hill.
Are we gonna leave the other part in and just splice this?
I don't know what we're doing, man. At this point, it is
I feel like we've come out better people.
We've come out a bit better, people. So Robbie the Fire is an expert on all things economics, on all things Donald Trump. That's your area of expertise.
Yeah.
You know it.
Did you watch the speech yesterday?
No.
I watched a little bit of it. I got to be honest, it's too early into the presidency to hear another, you know what I mean? It's fun when he's in the Oval Office and he's signing papers and he's fucking things up with Zelensky and he's yelling about walls. Another hour-long speech right after he just got in.
Still Tom Walls. He's still just mad at that guy.
You just need a little bit more time before you give me a big hoorah speech. I don't need it right now.
It does. Well, he does come in being like, here are the 50 trillion things I do. It's fucking WWE out there.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's funny. Jon Stewart did this whole thing about how wrestling is politics based on John Cena's heel turn. And it was like, we've all been saying this for
What happened to John Cena? What happened with John Cena's heel turn? I've seen the internet going wild
So
about that.
I've been saying this. I have text messages to prove that I've been saying for months that The Rock's character is just a sociopath, and at any given time he can just turn on anybody. Did not see the Cena thing coming.
The Rock's definitely, he's been definitely making his whole thing the sociopath guy.
Oh, yeah. Because I think he's actually a Hollywood sociopath.
He's 100% a sociopath.
He's just Weinstein with abs. That's all he is at this point.
So what? And then Cena basically came out at a big event, and then he was just like,
no, he won this match.
And
then he's supposed to wrestle Cody Rhodes for the title at WrestleMania, and then The Rock was demanding Cody Rhodes give up his soul, and then Cody said
His
no.
soul.
And then Cena hugged him, Cody Rhodes, and then The Rock gave him the Undertaker this shit, and then Cena kicked Cody in the balls, and big heel turn.
Well, I don't get how is it the heel turn? Just because
Cena's always been a good guy.
Yeah, but what? And Cody Rhodes is a good guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's supposed to just be the two of them wrestling as this farewell tour to John Cena. He's actually retiring and then sided with The Rock, who's now the evil billionaire that owns the WWE.
People
He's
are
on the board of
fired
directors.
up, right?
Yeah. People are pretty.
You can't have
excited.
John Cena's back of the head bald spot and be a good guy.
That's true. I think that's fair.
You ever seen John Cena's old videos where he was on Stern just talking about Smash and Tail?
Yeah, fat chicks and shit. Yeah, fucking fantastic. I met him once. He officiated my friend Jordan's wedding, and I met Cena once, and I just went up to him and made fun of his rap career, and he was actually a pretty good sport about it. I literally was like, his rap name was like Bumpy. He rapped with a guy named Bumpy Knuckles. I was like, where's Bumpy Knuckles at? He's like, yo, I know that man's in this city. We go find him right now.
Oh, he's funny.
Yeah.
John Cena does seem like he'd be a blast a bit.
Yeah, he was like, all right. He was a cool guy.
Yeah.
For somebody that famous, pretty nice guy.
Wait, so he was crushing some tubby tail?
Oh, yeah, there's a famous clip of him on Stern just talking about fucking a 280-pound chick because, people were like, you won't. And then he was just like, I had a great time. She was very nice.
So he was trying to prove his masculinity. That
He was basically saying, he's just down for the cause. He'll take down anything.
Yeah. But Evan Stone said the same thing to me. He said he got pranked he showed up and there was 3 big old fat chicks and they were like, Evan Stone's not going to fuck these 3 big old fat chicks. And he's like, I had the best time of my life.
It is the move. It is fine to be like, if your buddy sets you up with a really big one, be like, okay, you got me. But you do go through with it.
Oh, yeah.
I got to wonder,
like a man.
P. Diddy was paying all these hookers coming out to parties. Are celebrities having that hard of a time getting laid that John Cena's plowing through big chicks and Puff Daddy's got a higher hook?
No, this was more, he was at the bar and the other boys were just like, bet you won't, because this chick was really on him and he was like, fuck it, and he was like, had a great time.
Dudes that really plow through tail, it's like, yeah, hot chicks and ugly chicks. You know what I mean?
That's how you get your numbers up.
I think you just get in that zone. You go, okay, sure,
Yeah,
throw
they're
her in the mix, whatever.
Like legit pussy hounds were just like, whatever. This is
You're
the
not
pussy.
you're not discriminating. You know what it is.
Yeah.
Like if you're in that zone where you're just like partying every night on that thing, you're just like, how about this one? You go, okay, yeah.
Yeah, sure. Whatever.
Sure.
That's here. That knocks that off. Now I can go to bed.
Yeah, you're forgetting about that part.
You know
of
what
it
it is? It's because
But she's not hot. That's a guy who doesn't crush a lot.
there you go. I guess it's also because I'm in the morning like, so did you want breakfast? Do I have to meet your mom? Like, I'm
Right,
not going
you're
to
doing
get
the
the
whole
fuck
thing.
out of here, fatty. So I'm like, why would I invite this expensive mess into my life? But I guess John Cena's better at being like, all right, I just did you a favor. Now you can leave.
Yeah, that's so funny because you're like, why do the big ones? You know how much that'll cost you at the dinner? You're like, there was no dinner.
Yeah, there was no dinner.
The clothing costs so much more. I can't afford to
I can't
take her
afford the
shopping.
upholstery.
Yeah, John Cena was just like, I guess I don't have to deadlift today. You know?
And then I take her mom out for dinner, so that's going to cost me. I'm freaking running myself to the ground.
I can have fat people stains on my sheets. I don't do laundry that often.
But that's 100% a characteristic. If you take like the rapper that's just banged like 500 girls, it was like, yeah, 350 of them were disgusting.
I don't know the name of the guy, but there's a Lil Wayne song
Stop
called...
touching it.
There's a Lil Wayne song called Every Girl in the World, where they're talking about fucking every girl in the world. And my favorite line in it is one of the guys who's featured on it was just like, yeah, I'm taking V cards from the retards. And I was like, that's a crazy thing to say. And my boy goes, well, if you're going to fuck every girl in the world, there's going to be some retards.
Oh, yeah, so you're taking down every single one.
Whatever's there.
Some retards, some Asian retards.
Yeah, same thing.
But the Trump thing, so I watched the video like last night. Not the whole thing, but it's like, I don't know if I guess if you go to like Hungary and stuff like that, where people are, like getting in fights in parliament. But in this one, he starts out, first of all, the Democrats all have signs, so they're
So
protesting.
it's even more WWF like.
Yes, it's gotten to the point where it's indistinguishable. Linda McMahon's there.
Yeah. Yeah, she's there. She's just gonna bring out McFoley at any given time.
It would not have been if at any point in Trump's press conference you just hear dong. It would not have thrown you for a loop.
Yeah, Austin just tossing beers out to the Republicans.
Well, that's what happened. So they're basically everything he says. The Democrats are kind of like putting their signs up that they say this is not normal, and they all wore pink, and they had basically their team like protesting. Okay. And then every time they sort of filibuster, whatever the word is, the Republicans start chanting USA. So
There was an exhausting amount of clapping.
I thought that same thing.
I mean, it was like you might as well have been at the gym, just like monkey with the two things in the hand. It was an exhausting amount of clapping.
But it's not just the clapping; it's every time
you gotta stand up.
Yes, so if you're a Republican there, you had to stand up probably like 95 times.
It just looks like a Baptist church when the fucking priest starts singing.
My favorite moment was when Trump was up there going, "That volleyball lady had a normal face."
What was that one? I didn't see that.
And then it got crushed by a guy, and now look at that fat pig up in the rafters.
Oh my God, it's Sting!
There's I mean, it was smart by Trump because I mean, some of the things he's done is rightly called common sense reform, and one of them is hey, we're only going to have two genders, and if you're a male, you can't compete against women.
But that was also like I'm just going to throw this out.
Yeah.
The government only acknowledging two genders it was just lip service. Because have you ever filled out a government form? There's only two genders on them. The government only acknowledges two genders. I don't think
that's true. I think that there's lots of different undisclosed, like all this sort of different stuff.
You can write choose not to say, but no, that's only on like applications. Like when you fill out like for your passport or your taxes, it's only male.
I guess
and
you're
female.
right that the argument was never about the more genders. The argument was more, can you change it?
Yeah.
I thought you were allowed to ink your genitalia and put it on the form for them to decide.
Yeah.
Oh, no
Like a stamp.
No two
I've read
scrotums
that.
are alike.
That becomes your fingerprint, yeah. In your case, fingerprint. In my case,
No, it was
multiple fingerprints.
Oh yeah.
It was good marketing by Trump because in Senate it actually did not pass the no males in female sports. And so there was an incident of a lady who had brain damage because a male volleyball player spiked the ball into her
That's who was
head.
there.
And so he had her up in the rafters, yeah.
That's great.
And she lost the beach body.
Yeah.
So they were
It wasn't beach volleyball, and if it was, she's really fallen off since she took that ball to the head.
she wasn't a lover.
Yeah, she's John Cena ready now.
She's fat now. What was her position? Anchor. Oh, well, that seems to track.
Yeah, so basically, they probably stood up 85 times, and it was any little thing.
They're all checking their Fitbits. They're like, all right, getting steps in.
There was apparently no phone, so Elon Musk had to sit in the rafters. And yeah, I know. It was just like, it was like a proper zoo. And then the one guy...
They had yonder bags at the State of the Union.
What's that? What's yonder bags?
Those are the bags that you lock up your shit for, like Dave Chappelle.
Yeah, they basically did.
And they had to throw that one guy out.
And then the one guy stood up, and then he had like a cane, right? Like, so he actually seemed like the heel in this situation. It's like Big Daddy Kane.
Yeah, it was classy Freddie Blassie. He just came out. He's hitting people in the side. Ah!
I would not have been surprised if someone came from the top rafters. DJ Trump with the biggest elbow in the game now.
If Owen Hart would only survive that drop from the rafters, Trudeau could have just came down.
I wouldn't have been surprised if Owen Hart came back. He's been waiting all along for this. This has been his moment.
This is the moment, yeah.
Yeah, and then that guy comes up. He has his cane, so he's a pretty old man move, by the way, waving your cane. And
that's the classic old man move. Usually it's because they're angry at some sort of a Filet-O-Fish problem at McDonald's.
He definitely looked like an alligator shoe move. I could 100% picture this guy yelling at people off his porch, but I guess it was weird because I was looking up this guy's thing and it said he was in like the Congressional Black Caucus and he didn't look black to me. He had white people hair.
Really?
He looks Indian.
Yeah, he looks something like that,
Did he
or
have a
Hawaiian or something.
Yeah.
Light-skinned guy with a perm?
That's what he's going with. I don't know if I buy it.
He looks like he should be standing in front of a cigar store. That's what he looks like. Like that level Indian. Like weathered face, letting you know. He showed up to be thrown out, which was odd. And then it was all because usually Trump's very good at handling those situations. For a little bit there, he was almost being bitched out because he's trying to ignore him and just continue plowing through the speech. And then
he's like, he has more applause breaks to get to.
Yeah, exactly. And then finally, they actually threw him out, which was quite a spectacle that someone would show up to that event just to get thrown out. I mean, it's not.
I mean, that's just
he was
that's
trying to.
the move.
He's looking for the viral moment.
Yeah, it's like when AOC pretended she got handcuffed, and then there was all the photo. Remember when AOC was protesting and the cops escorted her out, and she put her hands behind her back, like, as if she got handcuffed, and there was all the photos from the side that she had just put her hands behind her back and hadn't been handcuffed.
Oh wow.
I mean, that's the coup de grace right now. If you can be like, I was kicked out by Trump, and then you know what I mean.
I bet she's good at that from role playing with her husband when he's getting banged out by hookers. That's her thing, is just standing in the corner pretending like she was tied up first when the homeless guy has his way with him.
And then on top of that, when the guy was getting kicked out, but they didn't get physical. If he really wanted his moment, he probably would have held out a little bit longer, so they actually had to physically remove him. He did leave on his own accord, and then they started doing na goodbye.
Didn't really catch on.
I watched none of it.
Didn't catch on.
You saw it.
It was like probably Marjorie Taylor Greene tried to get it going. It just was a couple loud voices. Well, Marjorie Taylor Greene kind of started it because in the last time she had heckled Biden, but Biden's Biden and took the bait and then had some horrible blunders because she had thrown him off.
Okay.
So she kind of did start the NASCAR energy of low class Congress heckle the president while he's giving the speeches.
It's been getting worse. And who was the dude who yelled at Obama, "You lie"? And remember Nancy Pelosi clutched her pearls? There was a guy, I forget who the fuck it was. It might have been Paul Ryan or something, like back in the day, just like, "You lie" when Obama.
To Obama.
Yeah, and then that was like kind of the beginning of it. Like, it was
like a really big deal at the time. Now it's just like par for the course.
Exactly. Yeah. Now it's just getting worse, and we're getting closer and closer to fucking
idiocracy.
President Camacho just being like, "North Carolina represent."
Yeah. It kind of was.
Yeah, it's just getting worse.
There was one step away from shooting guns in the air, like Afghanistan parliament style.
That's like he got that. I don't know if there's a more proper way to say this, but he got that hood black lady congressperson, and she put out a video of her like lip syncing a rap song. Going, did you see this one?
No, what's the black lady's name?
No, the one who did I don't remember her name, but the one is
she talks like that.
She's the one who did the bleach blonde bitch thing.
You bleach blonde bitch.
I remember that.
Yeah, she's got straight up Jerry Springer got cast by the producers to pick a fight energy every time she shows up.
Yeah.
But speaking to your guys' point, and it's a little bit because Trump just brought in, hey, I'm going to talk like a person and I'm a brash New Yorker, and that almost sells a little bit more now, and so they're all trying to like curse a little bit more.
Do their version
but it
of
doesn't.
it?
But it doesn't fit any of their personalities.
Yeah.
I'm going to pass this fucking bill.
Yeah. They're just trying to work it in. It just doesn't fit for any of them other than him.
You're saying it's like the uncle trying to impress the younger cousins.
Yeah.
Well, it's like when a comic just is all of a sudden trying to be right wing because it hasn't worked for them being left wing, and you're just like, I don't believe that you actually think any of these.
Oh, I thought you were saying they start swearing. I was like, that's not a right wing thing.
No, but they'll start like cursing, but even be like throw out a retard in a face. Like, okay,
just throw out a retard every now and then.
yeah. All right, relax, you fucking dope. Like I almost want to curse less and
Like,
use less slurs because
I'm
you guys
edgy
are
now.
so corny.
Yeah.
So every Austin comic.
You're saying just I'm edgy now.
Not every.
There was, and then apparently there's like a hot mic for the beginning of it, and then
Oh, but it wasn't that bad. It was just.
It wasn't that bad,
It wasn't
but it's
that
still
bad.
funny.
It was still funny, but it was just JD Vance up there going, "I'm sure he'll give a good speech, but can you believe that we have to sit through 90 minutes of this?"
yeah,
Which
That's also fair.
it's totally fair
No,
to
but
say.
then he goes, "You think it was?" He goes, "That was bad." You remember when I had to do it for Biden, and he was just doing his campaign speech, buddy. That's not. He was doing that. I'll tell you, the Canadian politicians right now are pretty funny to watch because you've obviously known the war that you've declared on my
you
home
queefs can't
country.
handle our whiskey, anyways.
Well, there's pretty funny things though. So you know Rob Ford, right?
I saw his brother was like, "We're sending no oil down. America's
Yeah.
screwed." He really took some coke. He found his brother's cocaine and snorted some of those ashes and showed up with the biggest balls on the planet to be like, "No, we're Canada and we're going to show you who's boss."
He's like Jersey trash is kind of like the type, but I saw the other guy, the conservative guy, gave his speech, Polyev, and he was kind of like, you know, making like we need to do this and this and
Sure,
this.
he was basically up there.
And
It's
people
not
didn't really like
right.
it.
It's just not right. The dignity. We're supposed to get along as countries. But at least Ford had some balls about
Well,
it.
that's people didn't like the other speeches. When he's been going up there, people have been happy about it, and he sounds super Canadian in the speech. So he's just like, "Well, you buddy, if you want to fucking try us, we'll see how you're doing without electricity, there, pal." Like he's like, "If you want to drop the gloves, we'll fucking drop them."
He played hockey in his day. He's ready to go.
That's what Mike Myers said. He goes elbows up when he went on SNL,
Right.
Which is like that's hockey shit. That's like
I didn't watch the whole-
someone's coming to it's like someone's coming to check you into the corner and you get the fucking elbow up on them.
I thought Mike Myers Elon Musk was good. People were giving him shit for it. I thought it was funny.
Really?
Yeah. You thought it was bad?
Yeah, I think if I know 100 people that can do a better Musk than that. He made him
Okay.
British.
Well,
I thought the like things he was doing were kind of fine, but I thought
Yeah.
his voice, he made it British.
Well, it's kind of, you know what? I only saw.
Mike Myers doesn't mean British, and he does
Okay.
mean accents. But even if you think of Mike Myers' characters, like this is, I can't do accents, right? And Mike Myers' characters, they're all like a guy that they're not like I'm doing that guy. They're all made up guys.
Right.
I feel like some people are better at doing like, oh, I'll do like I can do Robbie, whereas like here's a wacky guy that I made up.
I get you.
Whereas like, so I think he was he added this like British accent in when he was trying to
Well,
capture.
I just also think Afrikaans has to be like one of the harder like accents, like the South African white accent, because it's like, think about the idea that it's just Dutch people that have been hanging out with blacks. Like, I don't know how to fucking conglomerate.
No, that's an
those two.
impossible one to
Yeah.
do, the D-ant word.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck.
No, the
those guys
D-ant
said.
word, I agree it's a tough one, but I think that,
They were in a movie where the robot was more easy to understand than the two of them.
yeah. No, for me, it was just the British accent to me felt weird.
Okay. I think nobody.
You thought it
really
was a good one?
I thought it was funny. I thought I don't even know that the whole sketch was funny, but the little spazzing thing that he
Mike
added
Myers
to
is
it.
so funny. Obviously, everything he
so
does is like decent.
I don't know that it was the best impression, but he kind of captured the aloofness. I thought that was interesting, and whatever he was doing with the spaz, there was kind of his own punctuation on it. I didn't think it was terrible.
By the way,
no,
also-
I didn't think it was terrible. I was just like, I was like, why is it British? I guess what I was thinking when I was watching it.
You know, maybe I think I saw a short Twitter clip of it. I didn't really sit down and watch it.
the fuck is watching Saturday Night Live? That's insane.
Well, I'd like to watch that one because some of the sketches I saw from Shane were great. You know,
yeah. The one
That's actually annoying me that a lot of the articles where they always say Shane was nervous, and you're like, that's what he does.
Yeah, that's his whole, that's his whole
that's
thing.
funny. Yeah.
It's like everyone was like, because he does the thing where he's like, huh? Nothing on that. And this happened last time around too, and every article is just like he was so nervous and he kept asking the crowd for approval. You're like, that's called a style.
Yeah.
That's his style.
Yeah, watch his special.
Yeah, it's like that's what he does.
He doesn't know that his arms should be in front of his chest.
Yeah, kept holding his arms in a weird spot. Yeah. Yeah, no, Shane, obviously, there was some funny sketches, but, like, that one, for me, I thought it was fine, whatever. I mean, I like seeing Mike Myers coming back out. And the shout out for Canada. He's full on Canada stuff.
There's another Shrek movie coming out. That's the only reason why he did that.
Is there really?
I think so.
He sits on so much fucking cash with those Shrek movies.
The Shrek movies are fucking. You're banked up if you do that.
I know. He's just crushing it.
Even he doesn't even have to be in them. They made that Puss in Boots movie. I'm sure he made a ton of money off that.
Eventually, it's going to be AI. He's not even going to have to show up. It's just going to be.
I think that's like the biggest gold mine is one of those cartoon films once they get to 2 and 3.
Oh yeah, you're fucking
just
gold.
Giant checks. Why is Trump even going with the "we're going to make you our 51st state"? And that doesn't sound
I'll tell you who's not happy about it.
Who?
My dad.
Okay, you mean he's just taking the bait? It's just Trump being an arrogant and pissing people off.
He's not a happy camper, man. I've never seen him like this.
I never wanted to, I can't do it. He's just going, I don't want to be an American.
Oh, he's like, this guy's a fucking goof. I mean, he's ranting. Some of his points, he was like, Trump went on and he was like, this is the most unfair deal. And it's like, my dad had sent me a video. It's like, here's Trump talking about the exact same deal, saying it was the best deal that's ever existed in history.
Oh, you mean the clip that we all saw 2 months ago?
Well, he's on it now.
Trump's a hot chick. He just changes his mind, gets really emotional, where it's like real mad to real happy, and you've got no idea what version of him you're gonna get. Like, that's just.
What do you think his reason is for his attack on Canada?
Well, I think in part it's because if he can bitch people out, he enjoys doing it, and it kind of
does feel as simple as that.
And it kind of wins over the Republican base of American First. So I think when he first won the border deal, which was basically you guys were going to police for fentanyl, like that's just an easy win. I don't know that the. Listen,
but then he was kind of like, jokes, we're doing it anyway.
Yeah, well, no, I knew that. I knew that at the time.
Yeah,
I was like, you guys bought yourself a month. The tariffs are not good economic policy unless you just kind of threaten them and then abandon them because you get random concessions. So as to how they play out is unclear. If prices start going up, he's going to lose a lot of favor with the American public.
The tariffs don't make much sense with like Canada, but it's this weird thing where it's like in his last, the whole Trump tax cut was kind of sold as this thing where like we're going to go down to 21% corporate tax rate. The average corporate tax rate in the EU is 21.5%, right? So that kind of makes sense if you're going to tariff the EU, because then you're kind of going, well, we have the bigger economy. So if you want to do business here, we have the same tax rate. So it's going to cost you more to work there now because they actually have higher wages. Like that makes sense, but it doesn't make sense in Canada at all because it doesn't track.
And you're sounding like my dad now because he's the same making the points like this.
Is he?
Oh, he's just like, it doesn't make sense. Yeah.
Oh, all right. Sounds your dad's pretty cool.
I mean, it's not just him. Like everyone's really fired up. Like they're so fired up.
Which is gonna get you guys stuck with a new Trudeau.
That's the problem. That's how fired up that they are.
Yeah.
That like. It would be the equivalent of like AOC was president and like everyone stopped and was like, we have to support this woman full out. Like, I mean, it's obviously people that aren't feeling that. Like, I think the people in Alberta don't feel like that, but like the people will do speeches where they kind of trash Trudeau and everyone seems to be like getting mad, being like, hey, not the time.
I don't know. Has Trump even said specifically what concessions he wants from Canada to drop the tariffs?
I don't know, but he better make it soon because Canada just announced that they're changing Americanos to Canadianos, so that's among the many things that are happening.
Oh, Canadianos. That's fucking great. That's a real freedom toast situation happening.
Actually, there's a bunch of coffee shops that are doing that.
Fucking assholes.
Wait, you mean if I'm going to order an Americano?
No, you're not going to order an Americano. That's the thing.
Oh,
well, the main thing they were like, oh, we're going to stop importing Kentucky bourbon. And I was like, okay, keep drinking that shitty. Canadian whiskey is the worst whiskey on the planet.
I don't know which is from where.
Crown Royal is Canadian.
What's
Canadian
the best
Club.
ones? Crown Royal is good. What's wrong with that?
Tastes like vanilla.
Well, you're a whiskey connoisseur. I can't tell the difference between those whiskeys.
Crown Royal almost has like a banana thing.
It's gross.
Yeah, it's not good.
It's not good. The only reason why it sells is because black people like that fucking purple pouch it comes in. That's it.
Yeah. Well, that being said, it's some of it is all theoretical.
Banana flavor.
Because a lot of people, when you actually talk to them, the big thing is like, we're not, no one vacation in America, don't buy American things. Then you go, are you actually not going to vacation? And they're all like, well, I'm doing my vacation. Like, no one's actually doing the stuff.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's just a lot of talking.
They're not happy though.
Yeah, they can't all go to Bermuda at the same time. Like, you know what I mean?
They're not happy campers. Leave it at that. But it is a lot of stuff in a month. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, it is. It is just too. It's a lot.
Yeah, and I've been watching the Russia-Ukraine one. I mean, feel like that was like a month ago, and it was like 5 days ago.
Yeah, it was this week.
Me and Robbie were sort of chatting about that on phones, but like that was I think my buddy had the best like point on that. And he was just like, he's like, Zelensky went on with the wrong framework. You know?
What do you mean?
That when he went in there, he went in with the framework that has been working for him forever, which is like appeal to this, appeal to sort of the European sensibility. Whereas the framework was like, you need to, like, well, it depends on what you're trying to get. That's the point. If the goal is to not sign this deal and go to war forever, then he's probably cooking. But if that's not your goal,
do you ever hear? I was talking about this on my podcast today. Check out Run Your Mouth. You ever hear the story of the last Jew in Afghanistan?
No.
This is a real story. So when we were leaving Afghanistan, there's one Jewish guy who still lives in Afghanistan, and they go to the guys.
Is there literally only
there
one?
There was two, and one of them died.
You're telling me there's a paradise?
Yeah, yeah. If you want to go with the Taliban and live in Afghanistan, you only have to deal with one Jew, and he probably can't rip you off. So yes, it's the paradise you've always looked for. So there's one Jewish guy in Afghanistan. They go to his house and they go, we're willing to take you out of the country. And he goes, well, you have to pay me. And they're like,
stop.
I swear. He goes, I think it was $50,000. He goes, I want $50,000. I'll leave. And they're like, we don't care if you come with us. We are doing you a favor right now. And if you would like to leave with us, we will take you with. If not, you can get killed by the Taliban. He goes, well, pay me $50,000. They're like, we will leave you here. We do not care. Do you want to be rescued or not? And he goes, no, you have to pay me $50,000. I'm not. And then they're like, fine, fucking die here. We don't give a shit. And that's what Zelensky did. We spent $300 billion with him. We're done. We're telling him, you're done. And he showed up, goes, no, I'm not getting out of this war unless you give me a security guarantee. And it goes, why are we giving you a security guarantee? We're done. We're not giving you any more money. That was the last administration.
Well, their idea was like, if we have a joint, like the mineral
deal makes
it makes no sense.
Well,
really.
Here's why the mineral deal really makes no sense. We're just shoving it up his ass, and I don't think it's a great move. But why the way they're selling it is that if we have a mineral deal in place, then they're a strategic asset to us, and so there's an inherent security guarantee because then they're going to be important to us because we've invested in the minerals. The reason that
and then if Russia was like, oh, we're going to come and invade again, they're like, well, you're not going to take our companies.
But the reason that makes no sense is because why would you want a strategic asset on the border of an adversary you're not actually going to fight a war with? You end up with the Taiwan semiconductor situation again, which is we're not actually going to fight a war with China if they decide to retake Taiwan.
So you're setting up a bluff that you don't want to be called on.
Yeah. Yeah, and if anything, you wouldn't want to even, in my opinion, you wouldn't want to invest in a strategic asset that you can't defend and could potentially just get poached by, not that I see the Russia as the enemy, but if you view Russia as the enemy, why would you want to invest in a strategic asset that can easily just be taken by your enemy? That doesn't make sense. But that's also, like I said, in my opinion, it's the Trump bravado of, I need to turn around to the American people and go, look at how tough I am and here's what I'm doing for you. And so he's going, hey, Biden wasted all this money here. I'm getting that money back. And seemingly that's what he's doing with Canada. And Trudeau's a bitch, so I don't mind. I hope Trudeau has to get on camera and show up to the White House.
Well, he's done, and it's ASAP. He's already stepped down.
What does he do next? Like, what is that guy?
His son has a rap career, so that's part of it. I think he might manage him.
The legacy of blackface continues in the family.
Yeah.
That him and Chet Hayes doing the collab is going to be fire.
Chet Hayes collab. He's probably going to be looking for the Netflix special. I don't know.
I guarantee Trudeau will get, like, didn't they say Kamala Harris signed a deal with whoever represents the Obamas?
OnlyFans?
I mean, I'd watch.
I would too.
You get Montel back involved? Yeah. Take a look.
She sucked dicks to the top. I bet she's good at it.
Apparently.
The Zelensky thing.
If you get past the Indian smells.
The I like the Indian chick, so you're preaching to the wrong guy.
Yeah, me too.
It kind of reminded me of like a guy that if he was trying to walk out of there with the deal, it was like the guy who your parents are like, all right, we'll buy you a skateboard, but you need to play piano every day for like an hour, and then on your way to the skateboard store, you're like, an hour is just too much. And it was like, if you could have just got the skateboard and not done it afterwards, it was like
But he backtracked.
You were this close.
He was tweeting. I got the tweet. It's like fucking 400 words. Hold on.
I think there's a lot of people too that were just like, they support it because they're all like, they're just happy to have someone sort of stand up to Trump, and in their mind they're like, oh, if someone like didn't get bullied by Trump, but you're just like, okay, but who ended up better and who ended up worse in the end of the situation, right?
I mean, I think we're just in the exact same place we were. Like,
well, no, the America's, it depends on what you think, because if you're on Donald Trump's side and you're like, Ukraine we shouldn't be involved in this, you're in a better situation because you're like, see, this is what we've been saying, right? Like,
I think that was
why we shouldn't be involved in this mess. It actually gives you kind of like a reason.
I think that was Trump's genius, was putting it on camera, because he knew that Zelensky was going to come in and demand more, and that he was going to look bad for doing so.
You think that's why he put it on camera?
I also, and I say this just based off of my limited experience in sales, they were saying that it was a done deal and that Zelensky was coming in and they were supposed to do an hour-long press conference.
Ribbon cutting.
Yes. Mm-hmm. I don't think that's true, because Zelensky was saying beforehand, we have the preliminary. I think Zelensky thought he was showing up and he was going to try and get the security guarantee, which is ridiculous. He doesn't have, as Trump said, he doesn't have any... he's got no cards. He's got no... Why would we give him a security guarantee?
How's that hard sell being like, you guys are going to feel the wrath of Russia if you don't do this?
Right.
People did not like that.
I do not think it was a done deal. I think J.D. Vance and Trump are sitting there just assumptively closing him like, all right, so you're in to sign. And that's a bad energy to be in front of a camera being like, I don't know what to do here. I didn't agree to sign. And so I think that's in part the television that was playing out in front of us.
Yeah.
And it was a huge victory for Trump, because aside from the Democrats that are just on air trying to sell that, Putin can't win because then we look weaker, blah, 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 nonsense. I think anyone who watched that was just like, fuck that guy, let's be done with him.
Definitely a lot of people. Well, his argument doesn't, even if it's a little bit true, no one wants to hear that. It's like buying your girlfriend a purse, and then while you're buying it, she's like, this is actually good for both of us, because and you're just like, you know what, fine, let's not do it then. If it's equal, if it's so good for me, then how about I just walk away from it?
Yeah, it did have, I was saying it felt like the energy of when I got in trouble for spending my parents' money in high school on marijuana, and you're just in front of them and you're trying to explain the situation. Like, no, this was, that was it was really my money, and it was good for you, and you should give me more. It's
I'm
like
expanding my brain, which is actually good. You want me to be experimenting? I'm in college right now.
Yeah. And then Zelensky has the problem. He did comedy, and so he's trying to pull some of those tricks, like, you don't have to, can I talk now? And then you don't have to be loud with me. And Trump's just too good. He goes, that wasn't loud. I'll show you loud. Like he just stamped on that one.
That's why it was like, it kind of obviously people's perspectives on the whole thing, just like if you're a big Trump hater, you're going to be, on Zelensky's side and whatever. But at the end of the day, you're just like, what were the objectives of the people walking in? And from a negotiating standpoint, who came closer to meeting their own objectives? Well, unless you think Zelensky's objectives was walk in, show that Trump's an idiot, and then go to Europe and get more money, and then I can fight forever. If that's his objective, then I guess he got it. Boys, I got to tell you about our sponsor, Hims. If you're looking for a boost in the bedroom, everyone who's been following this podcast knows that I have been an advocate for getting that boost. The competition is doing that. Why aren't you? Hims is here to help with personalized ED treatment options. It's all online. We're talking quick. We're talking easy. We're talking a rock. When your car breaks down, you take it to a mechanic without hesitation. You need it, and it's not something that most guys can fix themselves. And men should think the exact same way about ED. But the reality is, it might be hesitant to seek help. You think it's going to be weird. I'm telling you, it is not weird. Thankfully, through Hims, you can get access to personalized ED treatments without stepping outside your door. Hims is changing men's healthcare by providing you with access to affordable sexual health treatments from the comfort of your couch. By the way, this is not all Hims does, but this is one of the main things that you can access right now. Hims provides access to a range of doctor-trusted ED treatments like chewable hard mints, Viagra and Cialis, and their generics for up to 95% cheaper. So they're not messing around. The process is 100% online. No need for an uncomfortable doctor visit. No need to waste a bunch of time, more importantly. I remember back in the day, it used to be put that on your schedule, man. You're taking 5 hours because you got to make a doctor appointment. No insurance is needed, and one low price covers everything from treatment to ongoing care. So start your free online visit today at hims.com/boyscast. That is HIMS.com/boyscast for your personalized ED treatment options. hims.com/boyscast. The products mentioned are chewable compounded products which are not approved or verified for safety and effectiveness by the FDA. Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan. Fellas, I got to tell you about Fitbod because it's time to get jacked. It's time to get in shape. You know, shed those winter pounds. We're entering into the summer months, and there's tons of influence out there telling you all sort of stuff, trying to sell you a less for more. Well, no more, because Fitbod combines the workout planning and tracking you need to stay consistent, make progress. The best part about Fitbod is you can bring it anywhere you go. If you got a new gym, you type in what the equipment is there. It'll give you a workout plan. It keeps track of everything for you. It also helps to keep things interesting. It also helps to tell you what your recoveries look like, and if it's time you should be working out those muscles again. It's basically a personal trainer in your pocket for savings. So Fitbod creates a personalized workout routine based on your goals, fitness level, available equipment. Workouts adapt to your growth, so each workout is challenging enough to push you to make progress. I know, especially when someone's not been working out for a while, you can get into a rut. It starts to get boring. Fitbod keeps it interesting, fine-tuned by experienced certified professional trainers to bring you best practices and exercise science to you, so you can level up your workouts with customized fitness plans that work for you and over 1,000 demonstration videos. So level up your workout. Join Fitbod today. Get your personalized workout plan, 25% off your subscription, or you can try the app free for 7 days at fitbod.me/boyscast. That is fitbod.me/boyscast. But you had a text. What was the text thing?
No, it was his tweet. It was a tweet from Zelensky where like he just backtracked the whole thing. Like this was yesterday, and this is, I'm paraphrasing because it's gigantic. We really value how much America has done to help Ukraine maintain its sovereignty and independence, and we remember the moment when things changed when President Trump provided Ukraine with javelins, which is like before the whole Biden stuff, right? We are grateful for this. Our meeting in Washington at the White House on Friday did not go the way it was supposed to. It is regrettable that it happened this way. It is time to make things right. We would like future cooperation communication to be constructive regarding the agreement on minerals and security. Ukraine is ready to sign it at any time and in any convenient format.
Do you think when he went back to Ukraine, he got an earful from everyone?
Probably
like,
a little bit. Doing, like publicly, buddy? They're all supporting him, but like I think they're kind of just like, hey, like we're running out of dudes.
Yeah,
like, you've killed all the dudes.
Yeah,
all these tech bros are just importing the hot bitches, and it's just going to be a country of fats. What are you doing, bud?
It definitely felt like he probably got an earful.
We're down to 3 techno DJs. I don't know if we're going to be able to keep doing these raves.
We're going to have to start sending the techno DJs to the front line. Yeah, that's not where you want to be.
No.
This war has been over since the first week when both India and China continued to buy natural gas, and even Europe, for that matter, from Russia. I think we were trying to isolate Russia and cripple them economically. It just didn't happen because no one really got our backs. And we've been throwing more money into the war just for Ukrainians to die. There's no...
If you remember the beginning, Zelensky was like, yo, chill. To like Biden. He was like, yo, stop. Sorry.
I wasn't the unprofessional one.
That's crazy, dude.
My phone never rings.
I mean, a violation of the boys. The boys are trying to hang.
Exactly. He's getting girlfriend texts. Yeah. What's the other side of it that, because I feel like you know this and I vaguely know it, but the argument from them is that, okay, well, we keep making deals with Russia. Like, you know, every president comes here, makes a deal with Russia, and then every time he, you know, breaks it or whatever. Is the other side of that it's like, well, that's not really what happened. What actually happened is it was broken a bunch of times by people doing this, and then you overthrew their government. And is that kind of
firstly, that's already a shifting goalpost because the start of the war was, Putin wants to take over all of Europe. And if we don't stop him here, he's going to go take the whole country. And, we're actually winning the war. And we need to oppose people that don't respect borders, because unless we're a strong America, that's going to empower China to go take Taiwan. And everyone's going to realize that they can just go conquer territories. We don't want to live in that world. We have to defend democracy, and we have to oppose Putin before he goes and takes over all of Europe. It's as of last week, the new storyline is, we can't trust Putin in an actual agreement. Now, I don't know. Like, I had a better expert on my podcast today, Kyle Asnone from the Libertarian Institute, and it sounds like the agreement that Putin violated was the Minsk agreement, which was a bullshit framework by the United States
prior to 2008.
Prior to when they then flipped the country, and they were essentially, I think, trying to buy themselves time to get more military gear into the country. So just take a step back. Whether or not Putin is trustworthy on a deal or not, as of 3 weeks ago, the conversation was, we have to stop him or he's going to go take over all of Europe. He's not going. There's no indication that he has the power to do so, want to do that, or that he wants to do that. And so, what are the options on the table? You're going to continue to fight him, and more Ukrainians are going to die. You're going to escalate it towards World War III, or you're going to see if you can. I mean, for most of my life, Putin's not waging wars and trying to take over countries, and he's not. I mean, how much longer is Putin's even going to live? He's been. It's crazy to think about. He's been the leader of the country since Bill Clinton's in office. He's just been there. So what's the other option here other than trusting him and seeing if he can come to an agreement?
I guess the other option is, it feels like for most countries, it's like, keep giving him money and then we can kind of it'll be happening over there. That's what it feels like, right?
Yeah, but the problem is that unless you actually give them enough to win, which then potentially escalates towards an actual war. Firstly, you just have people dying for no reason. But
no, I'm not saying that's good. I'm saying that's the other option.
No, but then also, if the problem is, countries won't respect borders, well, it sounds like this one might actually have been lucrative for Russia, and that they're saying that now there's trillions of dollars of rare earth minerals in the territories that he's conquered. And now they're saying that it's the breadbasket. I mean, they were saying that earlier. They were claiming that Europe was going to starve without Ukraine, and that didn't happen. But if there's valuable territories on the line, why would you want to then have Putin realize, I can go conquer all these territories? If your fear is you're going to embolden leaders to not respect borders, and we need to oppose him, but then we oppose him and we lose, doesn't that just embolden more people to go take... like, I'm saying, if that's the risk...
Yeah.
So
you're saying the risk is higher with that one.
Yeah, the risk of just letting him take more valuable territory. If you think, hey, we can't let people just be taking territories, so then you're showcasing that people can go ahead and take territories. And if you want to escalate it to the point that you can actually defend against him,
at that point, you're basically saying, like, go take whatever you want, but we're not going to be happy about it.
Yeah, we're not going to be happy about it, and we'll make it costly, but not that costly. And then if you try and make it any more costly, you're actually escalating towards war, and then you're putting the threat of the entire planet having a nuclear war. So neither of those options make sense.
Yeah.
The only thing that makes sense at this point, seemingly, is to go, hey, that was a really bad strategy by Biden. We should not have said Ukraine was going to be in NATO. We shouldn't be offering security guarantees to everybody. Sorry, Ukraine, you lost some very valuable territory. He's keeping it now, and we're calling it a war.
Seems like where it's kind of at.
I mean, that's where we're at. It's just the other things don't make sense. They're either escalating towards, keeping us all with the nuclear risk for no reason, or you're just further showcasing, go take territories. We don't actually have the resources.
But what do you think Zelensky's, like, in his mind? Because, there's certain people that'll just say, like, he doesn't want the war to end for a million reasons. Like, he wants to fight this to the bitter death. Like, is he just, like, in his mind... Does he have, like, bigger dreams? Like, no, we're gonna win this. Like, does he actually believe that, or something? What do you think's going on with him? What's his motivation?
I think,
and he's appealing. Is he used to being like? I guess he's used to being like, I'll appeal to, like, the American media. Like, that's kind of.
I think he has childhood star energy. That just 2 years ago, he was showing up to the Oscars and everyone was applauding him.
His wife was in Vogue.
Yeah, and I think that's in part because he partnered with the deep state. The deep state promised him, I'm sure, an amazing vision for what was going to happen.
Like, where are you guys?
If he fought the war.
Yeah.
And now he's just been fucked over by the mob that now wants to take 50%. And not only did he lose the war and he lost land, and he probably won't win the next election, and he's got a ton of people dead, and now they want to take minerals from him. So he's just kind of searching. I don't know what the end game for him in staying in the war is, other than maybe it's just self-preservation that there isn't elections right now. And as long as he stays in power, maybe whatever crimes he's personally committed aren't investigated. But I think his energy is just a little bit like, guys, I thought I was the chosen one. I thought I was the savior of Europe.
Yeah.
I was just here 2 years ago, and you were sending your celebrities over to try and
Everyone's
win
kissing my
support.
ring.
Yeah, and he can't say it, but I'm sure behind closed doors, he's like, guys, you talked me into this mess.
Well, yeah,
and made
100%.
promises.
We talked him into it.
Well, Boris Johnson went over there when there was apparently a peace deal on the table and nixed it and convinced him, hey, you got to go for it. So I think on his end, he got dicked over by the last administration, and so he's just kind of fishing around for like, I thought Europe and everyone had my back. Like, you guys talked me into this. I didn't want to pick this fight.
Yeah, you're kind of like the guy showing up to the party and they're like, oh yeah, we're not doing that anymore.
Yeah.
That's just one thing about like America, period, is when people are riding high, it doesn't last that long.
Right.
Like, period. Whether that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whether that be just a beloved person, like in the last 10 years, whether that be like on TikTok, whether that be anything.
Yeah, they eventually get torn down.
And it's not eventually, it's pretty soon.
Yeah.
Well, in the case of like a Fauci riding high or a Zelensky riding high, it's because they're trying to sell it. And so when you've got the entire deep state behind you and the media apparatus trying to sell it, so then
The salesperson basically becomes the fall guy at some point.
Yeah.
well, at some point, if they can't actually sell it, then
Well,
yeah.
he's not the salesperson. He's the guy who
He sort of is.
He's the can you hear me now guy, and then you switch to Verizon and you're like, well, this kind of sucks. Like, that's all he really is. He's not the actual sales guy.
Spokesperson.
Yeah. He's the front.
He's not the
front
guy
man.
actually making the phone call.
Yeah, exactly.
You guys ever read John Ronson's book, So You've Been Publicly Shamed?
Yeah.
No.
So if you never read it, it's a great read. But talking about how America loves to prop people up and then pull them down, it's kind of the great equalizer that we all like to feel like we could be special. And so it's a bit of a lottery ticket system with social media where it's like you can go from nothing to gigantic. And then we all feel like, hey, that can happen to me.
Mm-hmm.
But then on the same note, when we suck them back down to reality,
We're like, take it easy there, bud.
we're equalizing it back out where it's like, no, you're exactly like anyone can go up and anyone can be pulled right back down. And
Well,
I
also,
think,
people like to root for the underdog.
Yeah.
And people don't like to root for the person that feels like they have more than they deserve. Like when you're just like, now they're so beloved, and you're like, well, he's not that great.
Yeah, he actually kind of sucks, this guy.
or you become the Hawk Tua girl and some dude
that's a
convinces
perfect
you to
example,
put
yeah.
up a meme coin or
Well, yeah,
whatever.
but really, it's any mistake. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. No matter what it is. I mean, that book that you brought up, it was like the funny one is that girl who like she wasn't even famous. She just tweeted, "Going to Africa. Hope I don't get AIDS." Just kidding, I'm white. That was like the main case. In
Still
that.
holds up.
Still holds up. That girl cannot.
I can't guess whether they liked it or didn't like it.
No, nobody liked it.
And then she landed the plane, and then
No, not at all. She like took an Ambien, passed out, woke up in Africa, and just realized she didn't have a life anymore. Like, it was just like fucked. Her name was like Justine Sacco. She had like 300
there
followers.
was a few of those where people were on
Yeah.
the plane and then landed, and it was just like game over. Doo doo
It's a
doo.
wrap.
That happened to Louis with when he called what's her name's kid retarded. The lady was running for vice president, still kind of hot.
I can't remember.
Yeah,
this.
he got on some
Sarah
plane.
Palin?
Yeah, he got on some plane and just started tweeting shit about Sarah Palin, and then he landed and he was on every newspaper. Like, how dare this guy? Well, he ended up with worse problems in the media, but that was
Isn't
his
her kid
first run
actually
in.
retarded though? Her grandkid is like autistic or some such.
Yeah, but she has her mom's tits, so
Oh, good.
I thought you were going out there to yell at someone.
No, it was open.
I would have been like, is this another BOYSCAST bid after all the knob playing?
It was the opposite. We were the problem.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Door was
he's
open.
telling us to keep it down?
No, I don't know. Anyways, the last thing was his shirt. I guess people weren't happy with the outfit because the outfit's been working for him before.
Who are we talking about now?
Zelensky still.
Oh, yeah.
I'll be honest though, the JD Vance. Have you even said thank you? Once?
Apologize to me. I didn't love that either.
Dude, it was such a fucking bitch move, dude. He just came
It's
out.
100% what you say to a chick.
Dude, he's just such a cunt. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Or a chick says to you after she made dinner, she wants her adequate thank yous all the time.
Yeah.
I would say he had total mom energy of how dare you speak to your dad that way?
Yeah.
Have you even thanked him? Do you have any idea how hard he works? And by the way, I think if you rewatch it, Zelensky's first thing is thank you for having me here. So, just technically speaking, if you're going to play that little cunty card of,
absolutely
did you
could.
even say thank you since you came in here, young man?
And then just even the why aren't you wearing a suit? I mean, granted, whatever. He's clearly got.
That was a reporter that asked him, but
Yeah,
people
but
did
still.
glom onto it.
Yeah, but it's like,
Well, he wears his war uniform, right? That's
which I
his-
think is kind of silly.
But I agree. I don't think it's working, but that is his strategy. It wasn't, I don't know if disrespectful is the right word, as much as like he thinks this has been cooking for him.
Yeah.
He shows up and he was just like, I couldn't even put, I'd love to put on a suit. People are shooting at me right now.
Yeah, I don't have suits.
Yeah, I just came from the trenches, pal.
Yeah.
Also, just being short sucks because he looks like he's a child when he's sitting there with J.D. Vance and Donald Trump.
Yeah, and they're both over 6
he
feet
literally he looks like a freshman hanging out with the seniors.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? So even that also just amplifies that. Like, if he was wearing a suit, he would still kind of look off next to them because they're just bigger people. And the fact that he's also dressed down, like, even more kind of demoralizes him of looking like the kid at the dinner party.
He should have done tuxedo and really one up it.
Yeah.
But next time he shows up.
Yeah, that's funny. You
Dumb and Dumber.
tails, hat, cane, gloves, the whole thing.
I wore the nicest thing I can
Tap
find.
dances into the Oval Office.
How's this for you?
Yeah, just soft shoes in.
He lost Lindsey Graham, too. You don't want to lose Lindsey Graham in your warring.
Dude, if you lose Lindsey Graham, I mean...
Yeah, you're done, bud.
Yeah, that's like John Cena. You know how much your pussy has to stink that he's not interested?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you're talking, you know what I mean? Like, he'll dive into some fatties. Lindsey Graham is into any war, and even he's walking away from this one.
I know he's been tweeting nonstop about it too. It's interesting. He did the biggest 180, but if you lose Lindsey Graham, that's the biggest guy for your paycheck. It does feel like mob energy too, though. It feels like you've been dealing with the mob, and you're one guy. You show up, and he's like, "Fuck you," and you're like, "What? You're my guy."
Yeah, well, the Democrats are still getting his back, which it makes no sense.
Well, that makes a lot of sense because he's against Trump right now. They're united against Trump generally, don't you find?
Yeah, but I guess at some point they need to rebrand and actually win elections.
Well, yeah,
and so
good luck with that.
They're just so digging into unwinnable.
Dude, I was even thinking, like, in terms of, like, right now the internet is so organized of, like, Trump and Elon. Everything they do is 4D chess, and then the other side just like no matter what Trump does, he's the dumbest idiot alive, he's retarded. And it was like I was even thinking about it in terms of I do this still on stage, but I would do a lot of jokes about kind of, Fox versus CNN, and I do like the guy who loves Trump and the guy who hates Trump live in a house, and I was doing kind of, and I felt like, and I was kind of thinking nowadays, like, who would that even be for? You're like, everyone's so, like, in my normal life, I have friends that are not like that, but on the internet, it was just like, what is even the audience for that? It was like, everyone is very solidly like, there's nothing funny about this. The other, like, they're monsters. Like, no, we're not both, you can't make both sides jokes. Like, so I feel like that's a interesting moment where it's at right now, where kind of like making fun of both sides stuff on the internet isn't popular.
I don't know. Both of these sides better hope something either fucks up or goes really well. These midterm elections are going to be a fucking problem.
Why? What do you mean?
Well, like, I think a lot of the stuff Trump's doing is kind of widely unpopular. Like, just the optics of it. Like, I think a lot of people
It's
forgot.
got to pan out for him quick.
Yeah, because it's like you got 2 years.
You're saying he can't be like 2 years from now being like, yeah, the stock market's down and prices are higher, but trust the plan. Like,
it's not going to work. He's just going to get fucking midterm to shit, and you're not going to get anything done for 2 more years.
Whereas this stuff has to start working quick.
Yeah, and it doesn't seem like they're doing anything to make anything work quick.
Yeah.
Elon's just replaying the same jokes he did when he was a left darling for the right. The chainsaw is just the fucking, remember he had the flamethrower when the Boring Company was, the Boring Company was the scheme that he pulled on the left.
Sure.
Right? Like that was just going to fix transportation in California and it was going to save all these fossil fuels, and he showed him, and then he sold a flamethrower to raise money, and then they built one tunnel, and everybody was like, that looks like a crappy ride in a shitty amusement park. What the fuck are you doing? And it just went away. They never built the Hyperloop. He gave California the plans to build a Hyperloop.
That was one of the biggest criticisms at the time was that his Hyperloop never happened.
No, yeah. It's not,
None of what he does happens.
Nothing.
What do you mean? Like Tesla's a real company, and the
Stock price just
Starlink's a
tanked.
real company. And,
Yeah, Starlink and SpaceX have worked.
yeah, they're real companies that do stuff.
He's he had the Tesla Roadster never came out. the cyber trucks. I mean, I just don't think they.
I'll tell you one thing is it is interesting because obviously the argument against him is to some degree that he's like doing this to get rich and he's going to help his own companies. Dude, I'm a Tesla shareholder. That company is bleeding cash right now. It's down like 40%.
Yeah.
His net worth is getting fucking chainsawed down.
Yeah, it's not good. He's not.
Which I don't know. Do you believe that it's just like he just loves, America so much and he just wants to, cut bureaucracy because he's taking a crazy haircut to do it?
Well, it's also Trump's got 4 years left. Like, what happens after? You know what I mean?
Maybe the stock goes back up because he takes his. I mean, he's literally still the CEO. That's why it's funny that all the Tesla shareholders are like not happy with Elon Musk.
Can you just go back to work? You still got this company, and I'm an investor. What are you wasting all this time on?
A lot of people were sending him messages being like, "Can you tell me what you did last week?"
That's great. That's really funny.
If you are a big Tesla shareholder, you're like, "Where's your CEO?"
Yeah.
You just cut to him on the internet.
I impregnated 19 more women, and I pretended to make a bunch of cuts that I will then put back on the books in a week.
God, no.
Yeah.
I mean, he's probably doing some stuff, but you're just like, not for Tesla.
Well, the Tesla thing is like apparently this is just a disingenuous thing that you see. It's like the Tesla stock price is about where it was pre-Trump levels, right? There was the big spike after Trump got elected, and the whole market.
Yeah, I think it's still up for the year, but it's down 40% from where it was. Yeah.
Yeah, which is fucking nuts. You know what I mean? Like it's like that. You got to be pretty pissed off about that. But it's also
they're not happy campers.
But here's the thing: it's like nobody's really going to be reporting. Nobody reports it as this billionaire lost all this money in a day. But then the next time if it jumps 10% because of some policy, they're going to be like, Elon Musk made this much money because of this.
The press is so disingenuous that they'll do both. Like, I know what you mean, definitely more what you're saying, but they will also be like, Elon Musk isn't even that rich. Like, they post those articles, like, he says he's the richest man in life. He's not even that rich. Well, and then they'll also do articles being like, he's robbing the government to make himself rich. They'll kind of do both of those.
There's kind of two different levels of corruption. One is you get your hands into government for favorable government contracts, which I think we can all... That's not good for anybody. But then there's the other side of it where sometimes you're more just playing defense. And so I think what happens sometimes with these billionaires is they actually are just trying to play defense and get the government away from them so that they can just run their businesses. And then they get more sucked into the government game because they realize that that's where the money is, or the ability just to have their company. So I think, listen, I don't know that Elon Musk is a totally honest actor. I don't like. He's got businesses that are tied into government credits and defense contracting. But when he took over Twitter, he did become an enemy of the left. And in terms of just Twitter, that purchase, that essentially restored free speech to the internet because suddenly there was a platform that wasn't censoring everything.
Except for me when I'm just threatening.
And then that rubs off on the other ones.
Yeah, because they need to compete. And how do I...
Like, you wouldn't have had base Zuckerberg if it wasn't for that.
No, of course not.
But you don't have base Zuckerberg.
He's the most base man alive.
You don't have base Altman.
He said that to his face. I'll put you in a fucking rear naked chokehold.
They're just rebranding.
Fuck up.
I would love to fuck Zuckerberg. I've never done jiu-jitsu in my life, and I would love to.
I haven't done jiu-jitsu in 10 years. I will fuck Zuckerberg.
That'd be ultimate, though. That you do not want to be in a chokehold from Zuckerberg. And he goes, you had enough there, fucking Brooklyn?
I will fight. All right, I'll put it out. I will put it out there on the BOYSCAST. You ready for this? Zuckerberg, I will fight you, and if you win, I will change my gender. I will live the rest of my life as a bitch, okay? You can buy me a glory hole, the Facebook glory hole, and I will suck off men for the rest of my life as a lady if I lose to you in a fight. Let's go. How tall is he? He might be like 6'4" and like
no. He'd like you to believe that.
Yeah, how tall? I'm also really injured right now. It would not be an easy fight.
You think you take Zuckerberg though?
100%.
He's training, man. He's
in a fist fight.
Are you boys with Dana White?
No. Still not too worried about this.
Well, you seen him the other day. He did a song for his wife, and he wore a spandex jumpsuit and jumped out of a cake and all this stuff. Yep. I don't know if he jumped out of a cake, but
that was one of those things.
That's a real corny video.
You know what you need when you're rich enough? You need to hire a no guy who can just be the person to be like, that's going to look really bad.
Stop it.
Yeah. maybe it's just my autism and lack of relationships in life, but watching other people publicly display buffoonery for the relationship is grosser than watching two guys have sex.
I think it was partially is that everyone was saying that his relationship wasn't good and he was flirting with Bezos, his wife, and stuff like that. So that's why he was just like,
if I didn't love my wife, would I do all this?
He just got caught looking at her tits.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying, though, but this is him in the doghouse a little.
Yeah.
But then he also
And
like
his wife can get fake tits too.
Yeah.
You know, they got money for
You think
fake
he hasn't
tits.
proposed that? Every day he's just there being like, huh.
Why do you got to be so dumb and Asian all the time?
I actually just ran into a guy who's the top breast surgeon in the country.
So weird.
Well, it's
He
his
said he'd
own.
do it for free.
It's his own fault for being that rich and still being with his first wife. He's doing rich wrong.
That's fair.
Yeah, he could have upgraded 3 times by now.
You're missing that the Silicon Valley guy Asian wife combo that's tested. It's the
Yeah.
that's
Tried and true.
Tried and
And he's
tested.
Jewish too, right? Apparently, the Jews
Zuckerberg, I'm not sure.
Jews love those Asians. They love it. Not me.
You don't like an Asian chick?
Nah. Pussies taste like soy sauce.
Oh, here we go. That's fighting words for Zuckerberg, man. He doesn't like that shit. He's gonna chopstick you to the ground.
No, I like a good old American Gentile. That's what I like.
Classic.
Yeah.
So, anyways, the other part about the Teslas is, which is actually true, and a lot of my buddies have been kind of like saying this because I've been doing market research because I'm a shareholder. Not even that much, but like, I don't know, probably 20 shares or something, nothing crazy, but I'm along for the ride. I'm watching it. And then right now, the actual sales, like, I know it's, when you kind of talk about like the activism stuff or whatever, you just like, doesn't really make a difference. But like, people are legitimately selling their Teslas. And those are people that probably would have had a Tesla for the rest of their life. And they'll like never again own one. Like when people switch car brands, they do switch car brands. So the actual like damage to the brand is real.
I'm like that with beer. I was a Budweiser drinker forever, and I switched over to both Miller Lite and Coors Banquet.
Right.
And now if I go back and drink a Budweiser, I don't really like it.
There you go.
And I'm saying I drink Budweiser for literally 20 years. I
It's a
started at
mental
age
thing.
16. That was my, I like heavy IPAs, but like if I was just drinking, grabbing a bottle of Budweiser, like that was kind of like a staple. If you were doing a bunch of boozing in a night, or you've already had 3 IPAs and you're like, all right, I'll have a Bud Heavy.
Well, think about how much they hate him. Like, would you drive like Hillary Clinton's car brand? Like, that's how they see it.
I think so. No, it's interesting because he's doing.
Or they see it like how dudes didn't want to drink Bud Light. Like, that's how they see it.
This is like when Coca-Cola started talking out about abortion. It's like you sell Coke to everyone. Just keep your
What are you doing?
Just keep your mouth shut and sell Coca-Cola. I think that's the problem once you get wrapped in. So firstly, in
Now
terms
you're
of,
there. Now you're
in terms
posturing
of
it.
his personal interest, he might have walked away from some SEC suits from this. He might end up with some government contracts down the line. He might, you know what I mean? So, like, it might not have been a loss for him to be better aligned with making sure that a Republican got in. He's almost like, in a way, a different side of the deep state. It's also unclear his interest in Planter or whatever the hell that is.
Palantir?
Yeah, or what he might be doing, otherwise.
He's not even a shareholder in Palantir.
Oh, is he not?
No. I think he only, well, allegedly. This is what he says. He says he only owns public company shares of Tesla.
Okay, could be. The point I'm trying to is he definitely had an interest in getting rid of the left because they were going after him, and then I think sometimes once you just get started in the government game, you kind of get started on it.
He was in the government game, right? Like he's now come out and been like, yeah, they made me do this.
The government contract game, you're saying?
Well, he was always in the government contract. No, but I mean, he was always in the government contract game. What I mean is, he's in the I have to influence government game and in a public fashion. And so,
but you're saying the censorship stuff, it wasn't public enough. Like he wasn't like the front facing. Like the meta censorship that he kind of had copped to recently.
I'm saying if Biden had won, he was a target of the left, and you would see more SEC suits against him. You might see more
trying to not give him contracts.
Exactly, all of that stuff. And I think for him as a business person, doing the Doge stuff and losing the entire liberal audience when you're a green company and an electric car company is probably a bad business move.
No, it's literally a game-mobile.
Yeah, there you go.
At the time.
Yeah.
Now they're kind of cool.
Yeah, now the next ones are going to be like truck super gas guzzlers. Yeah. Fucking America cars.
You're like, it is electric, but we just we have some coal that we burn on the top of the hood.
Just so you get the cool smoke.
Exactly. Like a lawnmower engine in the back for no reason, just to win over Republicans.
It's got a button that goes vroom vroom. I mean, I think we're good, right?
actually think
Right
that's
next to
kinda
the
what's going
horn,
on.
it's a broom button.
Shit. Boys, do you miss having something to sip on at a social gathering now that you're not drinking as much? You're out with friends, you're at a party, you don't want to drink, maybe you got something to do in the morning, maybe you just stopped drinking entirely, maybe you're on a health binge, whatever it is, you're just thinking, I don't want to drink, but you're at a party, you want something to sip on. So there is an option for you, and I'm talking about Sol. This podcast is sponsored by Sol, and their new out-of-office beverages are perfectly microdosed with hemp-derived THC and CBD to give any situation that vacation vibe. Did you know that hemp-derived THC products are federally legal? Because of the 2018 Farm Bill, hemp-derived THC is now legal and accessible nationwide. I can't believe I didn't know that you can buy THC products online like this. It is kind of mind-blowing. The out-of-office beverages not only come in 2 mouth-watering flavors, raspberry lemonade and cucumber melon lime, they also offer 2 different doses, 2.5 mgs THC and 5 mgs THC. Feel the freedom to choose with 6, 12, or 24 packs. So if you can drink your THC any way that you like. We have them at the office and everyone's always impressed by them. Out-of-office beverages give you that warm, fuzzy, euphoric microdose feeling without sending you to the moon. You can crack one open after a hard day's work, wind down with your favorite TV show, or share the 6-pack with your friends at your next hangout, whatever floats your boat. So like I said, I'm a fan. We have them at the office. When people are over at your house, they're going to be happy when you pull them out. It's kind of a crowd pleaser. And if you want to feel your best, head to GetSol.com. Use the code BOYSCAST for 30% off your order. That is 30% off your order using the code BOYSCAST. One last time, that is GetSol.com. And use the code BOYSCAST for 30% off. Fellas, it's March, which is a time that people like to declutter their homes, but it is also an equally great time to refresh your nutrition and daily habits, because feeling refreshed and ready starts in the gut. And the pre and probiotics in AG1 helps to support that digestion. This is the first thing that I do every morning, whether I'm in my home, whether I'm on tour. Everyone knows first thing is AG1. So listen, multivitamins can be hard. You have a whole bunch of them. You forget to take them. A pill routine is very annoying at times. AG1 makes it simple. It helps keep you healthy. And it's something you actually remember to do, and it tastes great. Daylight savings is taking effect March 9th, and it is also the perfect time to optimize your morning routine now that more sunlight is greeting you in the AM. So you don't want that lingering grogginess. Shake it off. Fully embrace brighter mornings. AG1's great taste helps set the tone for a longer, more productive, energized day. It is the one part of your routine that you will not forget to get you off to a good start every single morning. Also, the days are getting longer. Spring's right around the corner. That means more outdoor activities, fresh energy, a great time to refresh your wellness routine with a great tasting daily healthy drink. So AG1 helps you support your body's health. Unlike other supplements that come and go, AG1 is a habit that actually sticks. It's convenient. You enjoy the taste. You almost look forward to it in the morning, and the benefits are ample. You start feeling better. You have more energy. The prebiotics, probiotics, your gut health's better. Your digestion's better. So when it comes to my gut health, I want something I can trust, and that's why I choose AG1 with science-backed ingredients with real benefits I can feel. AG1 makes it easy to support overall wellness every day. That's why we've been partnering them for so long at the BOYSCAST. So AG1 is now offering new subscribers a free $76 gift when you sign up. You'll get a welcome kit, and it looks pretty cool too. Like I said, I have a lot of people in my life on this. A bottle of D3K2, 5 free travel packs in your first box. So make sure you check out drinkag1.com/boyscast to get this offer. That is, again, drinkag1.com/boyscast to start your new year off with a healthier note. Well, I told you guys about this already, but that was also the economic blackout in terms of people boycotting. The girls did an economic blackout. They've been doing these, but they did one day, 24-hour boycott of spending. But it's really funny that Trump basically put it in a situation where everyone's wives decided they're going to take a day off spending.
Yeah, exactly. And then they buy double the next day.
Oh, yeah, your girl's like, I want to go to the restaurant. You like, are you fucking, what are you, some mega Trump lover?
Yeah, what do you love, Trump? No, we're not doing that. We're going to book it on Resi. I think that.
We're gonna do, and you only want to do one day. I thought you cared about this country and I thought you actually cared about democracy. You want to just do a 1 day boycott?
Yeah, this is crazy.
Yeah, that was like the 2 days when the sluts that will only vote for the party that empowers abortion said they weren't going to have sex while Donald Trump was in office.
Yeah.
It lasted all of a week.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one lasted a day, but yeah, the boycotts don't do that much. But I do agree that I think the Tesla boycotts are actually ravaging that stock. But I guess it remains to be seen how it all shakes down at the end of it.
Oh man, the soy boys pretending to be bisexual really thought they had a windfall when they weren't going to fuck any straight white males for a while. All the male feminists were like, "Nice, this is finally paid off."
Yeah.
The long game.
I think the broader point that I'm making is that with the Tesla shareholders, some of the crypto guys are unhappy right now. Like, you're sort of like getting to your point where you're saying that he has got to figure it out by the midterms. You do have a bunch of different groups that are starting to be like, what are you doing there, bud? Like at the same time, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like actually, my buddy had a pretty funny way of describing the crypto thing because they're like, okay, we're gonna.
What the fuck even is a strategic crypto reserve?
Well, no, they have gold, which I would imagine
gold is a thing. Like there can't be a strategic crypto reserve.
Well, that's what he said. He was just like, this would be the equivalent of if the government's like, we're going to keep half our reserves in Target gift cards.
Yeah,
like, it's just random.
Who said that?
My buddy Matt.
Oh, well,
I pissed real bad. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah, no problem.
I think the Bitcoin strategic reserve is. It's like
There's two. Separate them, by the way, because the Bitcoin strategic reserve isn't as crazy as like this basket.
XRP.
That's where people are just like, and then on top of that, you go, okay, we're gonna have a Bitcoin, we're gonna have a crypto strategic reserve. Also, we're gonna announce it so the price can go up, and then we can buy it at a higher price. Like, why would you?
I think it's it's essentially a bribe to a voting bloc. The same as the teachers union would vote for something. They kind of won over the digital currency market by saying, hey, as opposed to the Biden administration that might even ban this stuff or make it harder to use or harder to acquire, you get people like me going, all right, I hate both of these parties, but at least these people are going to give me free money by propping up Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And so I think the same is, usually I don't belong to a voting bloc. Like, I don't have college debt. Biden was promising, hey, I'll get rid of your college debt. So, I mean, it's just, I think government's in the game of trying to bribe people for votes, and it's usually in free health care. I'm going to get rid of your college debt. Teachers unions for better contracts. We're going to go with this side over that side. So it's basically placating the cryptocurrency fans by not just channeling, hey, we're going to get rid of this thing. We're actually going to support the value of it by government buying in.
Well, they're doing it sloppy, I think, is why it's sort of annoying crypto people, because they're kind of doing it in a sloppy way, and then on top of that, it kind of feels like they don't even have, like, they kind of, it's uncertain whether they even can do this, right? So, when people get left holding bags, like, they're like, oh, the government's doing this, I buy in, and then it like drops 40%, and then you kind of sell, and you're just like, now I lost like 20 grand that I wasn't even planning on like, that shit like sticks with people for like 8 years where they're just like pissed off about it.
Yeah, I mean, the way your friend said it, if the government decided that General Motors was going to be a strategic government asset because we need to have better American cars and we need to be investing in that industry, and then you go and buy the stock, and then they turn around and go, you know what, we're not that interested in cars.
Or we weren't even able to do it. Turns out we can't really do this properly. Like, we tried.
But the same thing just happened to student loan people. There was a crazy article last week of people that thought their student loans had been... the payments had been suspended, and they thought that they might be done with that student loan debt thanks to Biden. Turns out that they will be responsible for that debt, and then some of them, like you, who doesn't get mail, they did not know that they had to start making payments on their student loan debt again. And then
now they're in a worse position.
Their credit scores dropped 100 points. Some of them had mortgages that got canceled. And exactly. So that shit happens all the time. You know, how many people thought that their windmill was going to continue to getting government checks, or how many people were trying to get, how many kids were in college right now trying to get not a DI, they were trying to become the HR person for fairness or whatever the fuck their stupid terms were, and now all of a sudden they find out
fairness czar.
Yeah, the fairness czar at General Electric. I mean, I don't know what that, there was a position for that. I forget what the
and now they're all getting eliminated.
And now that job no longer exists. So this happens all the time.
They're in a worse position if they just never bought in.
I mean, that's
what a short frame of time for that to be a career. It's like mini disc player creator. You know what I mean? Like it's over. It's SoundCloud rapper. It's done. Your job lasted fucking 3 years, asshole. You should not have dedicated so much time to this.
But by the way, you know how many big investments can get ruined just by government changing interest rates or the amount of funding that they want to put into an industry?
I guess the only difference in this specific case
is that it affects you.
No, I don't have crypto right now.
No crypto? What are you doing?
No, well, I don't know. It's just I'm waiting for a dip. I sold it. Whatever, it doesn't matter. I sold it. No, that is what it is. I've never been I had some, and then I sold it, and then here we are. I almost bought again when it went down to 78. I had my eye on it.
There you go.
There's so much stuff going on. I don't know. But then the difference that I was going to say is like, I maybe they all have this, but their argument is not. Their argument is more that we're doing this to be make America the like center of crypto. Like this is actually good for the country. Whereas I don't think people saying that student debt, they're just like, we're going to erase all these debts and that'll help America. You know what I mean?
No, that was just vote buying.
Right, but I think they're pretending it's not more.
I think that it's always.
But you might be right. Yeah.
I think it's always the sale is. Hey,
but
anything
that's not Bitcoin, right, is kind of like you're just cherry picking who you're. You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
Like why'd you pick that coin? Who are you friends with that works there? Who's holding it? Like it's like it doesn't make a strategic crypto reserve for something that doesn't.
I mean, there's probably people listening to this right now being like, "Shut the fuck up."
Yeah, you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm sure, but I don't know. To me, it feels like I agree with what you're saying.
Yeah, it doesn't like. Look, there are countries that have federal like investment funds that could be part of something like that. If we had politicians that weren't allowed to hold individual securities, which we don't.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Well, the guy like David Sachs, everyone was saying, well, he's just pumping his own cryptos, but he's like, no, I sold all my crypto when I took this job.
Except it's all just on some random wallet that nobody can track.
Maybe, maybe it's possible. Like I think that. It's possible, but like I think that some of these guys that have like that much money, it's like I'm not doing this to try to like pump myself an extra $500,000.
Yeah, maybe you're right.
To be honest, like a lot of if you have that much money, like taking a position in government for a year, you're probably losing money because you're just like, what do I make a year, and now I'm doing something else. But maybe that's.
Literally everybody. There's all the numbers of all the people who go into office worth X and then come out worth. You know what I mean?
You're saying that he could have it on some cold storage wallet and there's no way to find out.
Yeah.
Well, maybe, but if you're like that's a good question. I actually don't know the answer to that, but if you're like the guy who's been like CEO of like crazy public companies. That's also tax evasion too, right? So like what you're saying is like this guy has like $1 billion on a cold storage wallet the government doesn't know about. You're like, maybe, but those are pretty big crimes as well.
Because everybody got prosecuted for all those crimes they committed in 2008. Like it's like two guys got prosecuted like after they did the whole fucking mortgage default swap thing. It's not like nothing's gonna happen. It's just gonna be on a fucking drop. Like,
people go to jail for tax evasion. Now, listen, I'm not trying to simp over here. I get your point.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go take a leak, but I just want the listeners and the record to know that my bladder did better today than BK Chris's.
That's fair.
Thank you.
Yeah.
See you in a second.
What was that?
I said see you in a second.
Who's got the key?
I do.
Chris has it.
If not,
do not go in there.
Yeah, I'm the world's fastest shitter.
Are you?
No.
Oh.
Definitely not.
I'll tell you, I got actually a funny video for you, Chris.
All right, let's
Well, he's there. This is a good time for a video. Hold on. Mystery, right?
Yeah.
So my buddy sent me this in fucking.
Now, by the way, I now know who that is because I know you know who that is. But like, whenever I would hear people talk about that, I thought that the guy from the pickup artist had become like a pundit forever.
You thought Destiny?
Yeah, I thought Destiny.
Yeah. It did as a pickup.
I literally
name.
like every time people would be like vaguely talking about Mystery, I'd be like,
yeah, sure,
the peacocking guy. For years.
They all had names. Streamers do all have names like pickup artists.
Yeah.
Asmongold, you telling me that's not a pickup artist name?
Definitely. There used to be this dude who was almost homeless, a fucking black dude who would hang out around like Park Slope bars, and his given name was Oracle, and he would use that so effectively to game silly white chicks. every
Oracle is such a good pickup
dude.
name.
And like I watched this girl once. He was like, my name is Oracle, and he just did like the move of like pulling out his ID and showing it to her. And this girl, he didn't even register. They said, I don't give a shit. Stop talking to me.
Yeah.
And he pulls out his ID and shows it as if like he knows how this always goes. And she took his ID and threw it and said, I don't give a fuck. Go away.
And he's filming for his like pickup artist channel.
No, he was just a dude. He was just a black dude who was just picking up on chicks, and I knew him from around the neighborhood.
Oh, you saw this in person?
I saw it real time. Yeah.
That's sick. Well, the mystery was doing like a podcast tour. I think he has a podcast, but it's just like, to me, the way that he talks, that he's talking about his current girlfriend, and he's still using the lingo, and it's just killing me.
What do you mean? He's saying a partner or something?
Come and talk to me, basically. So
This is him talking about how he met his girlfriend.
that I had smiled at earlier in the club on entry, had decided to come and talk to me, basically. So my girlfriend now, her friend tapped me on the shoulder, and I turned and basically made my selection, right? And I said to the girl who's my girlfriend now, I said to her, you'll have to fight for me, and it's worth it. And so she pulled me and started making out with me to blow out the set that I was in. I was pre-selected, and it was a heated debate.
So wait, is that just him trying to justify PDA?
But also like a guy, they're like, how'd you meet your wife? And he's just like, well, they were a 2-set and I was running day game. Just so the way that you saw the lingo. He goes, well, and I'd walked up to her and her friend, I'd already been pre-selected and I was running a day game. So the 2-set that I'd been talking to earlier, just using that lingo when you're talking about your girlfriend is like so fucking funny.
I don't even know. What is a 2-set?
Like it's just pickup artist lingo.
Yeah. Okay.
But he's talking about how he met his current girlfriend. He's saying, I was running day game and there was a 2-set. And then the girl in the corner had pre-selected me. So I brought her over and I started negging her. And
just like leave it to like white dudes to just like turn it into some sort of like series of equations where like black dudes are just like, yeah, fuck bitches.
Sure.
It's just like that. I go on.
I've been saying that for a while, that if the black polyamorous channels versus the white polyamorous channels,
okay.
The white polyamorous channel is like always a guy being like, yeah, my wife had sex with these 9 guys. And the black polyamorous channel is a guy with like, I'm dating a girl and her mom and we got kids with both of them. Like, it's like these guys are doing it better.
Yeah.
Also, I'll tell you, not necessarily speaking of, but there was a trans guy at my show, like with the beard and everything, indistinguishable.
Okay.
Talked to him for probably like 6 minutes before he was like, I'm trans.
Wait, so it was a lady that became a dude?
The lady that became a dude, total bro,
Yeah,
like
'cause
you would
fucking
never have known.
Dude, if you're testosterone and jacking,
yeah,
and working out,
Rogaine on the beard.
yeah,
Rogaine, that worked for the beard.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Shocking.
Proper beard too.
Huh.
Maybe a little patchy, but like not a chance. And she was there, or he was there, and his little brother was there, and he kept referring to his little brother. This is my little bro. He was like a dude.
Does he still have his muff?
Yeah, he talked about it.
So
Yeah.
he's broy looking dude with
Broy
vagina.
looking dude, pretty funny. He was like, I'm just a dude without a dick. I don't know what to tell you. Like, he was funny. There was no way you'd watch this and be like, that's a chick. Yeah, it was very. So they're doing it pretty good right now. Girl to guy, I think, pulls it off better almost.
Well, you just
Well, you just look like a guy. If a guy with feminine features is like a good looking guy.
Yeah, that's
A girl
fair.
with masculine features is get the.
My girlfriend.
Also, I think, I don't know if this is Trump related,
Yeah.
but I have also noticed an epidemic. This is going to seem like a pussy comment.
Okay.
But in the last like 3 months, I've noticed an epidemic of people that have been shaking hands and trying to go for the Trump handshake, where they really try to make a signature point on you.
oh, like they're doing the politician.
Way more than I've noticed. Like, give me your hand. They'll be like squeezing as hard as they can.
By the
like,
way-
it'll be like, out of every 8 guys' hands I shake, one, you're like, this guy's trying to prove something right now.
Yeah.
I've noticed that way more than I ever have before.
It used to be relegated to Italian guys who had good jobs, but literally just tried too hard to pretend like they wanted you to think they were the
You used to be
mafia.
like a grease ball move.
Yeah. And it was always the shittiest thing. Just like, or like the guy who grabs just your fingers like in the front, and you're just like, oh, I know what you're doing. Now I just think you're a cunt. Like,
Yeah.
it's like you have not alphaed me in any way.
He's trying to put some pain on you.
Yeah. Just like you're just a fucking dickhead.
Well, as a short bald guy, I've always
Did you go in for the kill?
I've always engaged in handshake dominance.
Yeah.
You gotta let people know what's up.
I'll be honest. As a Jew,
I'm not gonna be a short little bitch. You gotta let them know at the beginning of a conversation.
As a Jew, I'm gonna throw this out there. Power move: shake somebody's hand and then the Purell, just to show that you're
just
disgusted
to let them know.
by
Yeah,
them.
get your fucking goy hand off of me. Yeah. Yeah, I still do that with black people, not as much.
You know what? On the topic of Jews, since you brought it up, I got this from this morning. Comics off-collar remarks on Jewish people and Israel-Hamas war at Brooklyn Comedy Club, Williamsburg Comedy Club show are no laughing matter for guests. Mike Recine.
Oh.
Mike Racine's at Williamsburg Comedy Club.
He made the paper?
Yeah.
What newspaper?
It was in a couple different things, but this is AMNY.
Good for him, getting some press. Yeah. I bet it was a good joke, too.
Yeah, Ed sent this to me too, and I saw him post it. Brooklyn Comedy Club guest said she had no idea that her night would end in tears. This is how Williamsburg Club Jewish woman started crying because Recine was on
Wait,
stage.
dude, you're a Jewish woman, and you thought there was less than a 60% chance that your night would end in tears?
What? That's great. I want to know what the joke was.
Well, it had nothing to do with the joke. She said the ticket price was too high.
2 drink minimum? They're less than anywhere.
The joke was, it says in this article, well, you've heard Mike Racine's jokes probably, but...
I mean, Mike Racine's a great I don't know the specific joke.
He starts with how Jews must find free Palestine very confusing, so
yeah,
you've heard that one before.
Yeah.
Confusing because we love free stuff. Chellen, who is Jewish, and her husband said, I don't know about you, but as a Palestinian has never kept my security deposit. So that's what he said.
Okay.
Chillin and her husband
immediately demanded their money back.
She did say in the thing that she wanted her money back. It said this somewhere. I would love an apology from the club, and if they don't want to refund our ticket prices, that's great, but whatever. What I would really like is for at least one person to see this and not support this comedian, and warn Jewish people that if you see this guy's name on a lineup, do not go.
Jeez.
And then after responding, she was in fact upset. Recine said something along the lines of, why don't you go kill some more babies, as the audience laughed.
There you go.
She then,
well, you're in Williamsburg. You're playing in the abortion set.
Yeah, I was just saying get some abortions. She then broke down in tears and exited the club with Scott. So anyways, I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah, that's pretty great.
I'll tell you sorry.
How'd you get the story picked up by the papers?
I mean,
she knows someone in the industry.
Yeah, I'll be honest though.
Yeah.
AM New York, it seems like you guys are slipping a little in your control of the media.
Oh, really?
That was the free newspaper that was in all the things on the side of the...
I remember AM New York. I used to read that on the subway.
Yeah.
You're saying they used to have a little more control?
Yeah, you think you get like a little more, gray lady sort of situation.
I actually had a censorship thing recently, so I was kind of even thinking like in my mind, you know how I've never like actually voted, but you kind of, your hearts and minds are generally on one side, and then generally for me probably is always around censorship, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's probably the biggest one where even if I'm not going to like support, I'm just like generally like quietly rooting for whoever's against censorship more. Mm-hmm. But a guy who was actually on our Patreon sent me this message. He said he was applying for a job, and it was TELUS or something like that. Mm-hmm. And basically these AI companies, they hire people and then they ask you all these questions about what you should censor, what you should not, so they can train AI to censor, right?
Okay.
And
I don't like that at all.
He said they sent them my videos. So he was like, it was the I don't know if you've ever seen a video I did where I was like a morbidly fat photographer.
I didn't see the photographer. I saw the one where you and Danny were very fat.
No, this one was a photographer that, when people are doing like plus size photographers, he only does like morbid, like. Oh, okay. So he's like only photographies like, 600-pound plus women, and he's talking about how he had to bust down the back wall of the studio to make kind of a lot of fat jokes. But it's actually one of my better videos, I think. But anyways, that video was sent to him, and they're just like, do you think this is unsafe to be watched? So that's how they decide this stuff, is they hire a bunch of people, they ask them questions, and then based on those people, they train the AI to be like, yeah, you kind of act like this group of people. And then, companies hire these people, and social media companies, and that's how the AI decides what's acceptable and what's not. So it's kind of messed up.
Yeah, that is.
So I'm like, that's my...
But it's like people that are applying for a job, right? So it's like you answered the way you think you're supposed to, not the way you feel. You know what I mean?
That's that's a good point, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's like when you get asked a question like, is it?
Everyone's lying a little bit.
Yeah, everybody's lying constantly. Like it's like
They even,
like I think fat jokes are hilarious, but it's just like if I was being interviewed by a large fat person and they were just like, so like you think health at any size is true, right? I'd be like, yes, I need this job.
No matter how big you are.
Yeah, no matter how big you are. I mean, and frankly, if you die, I'm moving up this ladder if you hire me. So you know what I mean? Like it's a win-win. It's a double whammy. Like it did. Like,
Yeah.
but it's just like, but it's like everybody's in this situation where they're kind of lying. They're going, okay, what do I know about this company? What do I say here?
Here's what I'd say at my buddies. Here's what I'm going to say at work.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do what okay, I'm probably supposed to. And also, you're not going to just do that job and then just be like, it's good, it's fine, it's fine,
Yeah.
it's fine. You're just like, I probably have to pick a couple that I think are bad, like, or else I'm not really doing my job.
Yeah. And they're not sending you, I'm sure they're not sending you like Taylor Swift videos. You know, they're sending you only like comedy sketches on the internet by like people who aren't
Political
like, mega
stuff.
famous. Yeah, some sort of weird shit, and you're just like, what do I think this person? You're clicking based on what you think the person that sent it to you wants to hear, not based on what you actually feel.
Definitely some of that. So the
Yeah.
whole thing's kind of fucking bullshit.
Yeah. So we're just training AI to be phony cunts.
It sounds like the framing itself. If you were to ask, like, if you were to get, let's say, 40 college kids in a room and show them one of your sketches and go, "Do you like this? Do you think it's funny? Would you like if the algorithm showed you more of this?" You're going to get yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
But if you start asking someone, "Hey,
do you think this is offensive to
sitting
some
in a
people?"
cubicle.
Right. Do you think this might be offensive that we shouldn't have it on a platform?" You've already framed it as...
Keep in mind, your job is to make these decisions.
Yeah, then you've already framed it as you're supposed to remove what you think we would think is offensive content.
Yes. And you're already, just by asking, you're already putting it into the ether that maybe it shouldn't.
Right.
Yeah,
Like, you know what I mean?
You're
like, if I just
framing your
showed you a video, like, it wouldn't even
Right,
be
you
on the
didn't prime
table that,
them.
like, is this,
Right.
like, yeah, that's, it already starts with that in the ether of, like, I'm
Yeah, if you were
asking.
like, here's a video, I'd be like, I'd watch it and have an opinion. If you go, do you think this video's fucked up? I'd be looking at it in the lens of,
Yeah.
oh, maybe I should look for something fucked up.
Just like if I was like, hey, I had this conversation, I said this to my chick the other day. That's very different when I go, hey, should I say this? Now you're kind of like, you know.
Yeah, now you're mulling it a little
yeah.
differently.
So I don't like it.
Yeah, no, that's fucking terrible.
But that's what these companies are doing. That's how they do it.
Well, at least China, you know, they just want yes, no matter what.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, another guy we had, he actually sent me, because we were talking about like the Germany stuff, how, you know, people are getting censored for like everything. And he says he lives in Germany. He sent me a few of the things actually in another Patreon thing, but he sent me, he goes, I live in Germany, and a guy on Twitter, his name is Du Beast Sopimo, some German shit. But he tweeted it essentially means you're such a wiener to a politician.
Oh, yeah, I saw something about this.
And then that guy, that's the guy that they raided his house and blah, blah, blah.
That's like kind of crazy. Like, you're such a dick, you're a wiener, you're a fucking pussy. Like, it's like we're there where you can't like do that to like, first of all, you can't do that to a politician is kind of crazy. I think I called Charlie Kirk a fucking dickhead yesterday. He's not a politician. But
What did Charlie Kirk do to end up in Chris's bad books?
I don't know. I just was like, you guys are all fucking dickheads. I'm sick of this shit. Like, it's just like they all just are like, so. It was about the
I like a
protest.
picture of you on Twitter, just fucking reply guy into people.
Oh, I'll do
Idiot.
it. You fucking stupid idiot. But
Try again.
no, but
Source.
Oh, it was about they were like, oh yeah, we're making certain protests illegal. No, like at illegal protests, we'll be cracking down on them. Like, what the fuck is an illegal protest? If there's no property damage, there's no illegal protests. And saying that like you can't wear a mask at a protest is fucking,
like the Trump saying that the universities can't have protests.
well, it's not even that. It's like, if it's what is an illegal protest? How is that an illegal protest? If there's no property damage, it's not an illegal protest. And the idea of you saying that like somebody can't wear masks while they're protesting, it's like, well, what if what they're protesting is their fucking boss? You know what I mean? Like, it's like you can't. That's a dumb law. It doesn't make any fucking sense. So Charlie Kirk was obviously all for it, and I just called him a fucking dickhead. Some reply guy.
What do you think of the college protest law?
I don't know. I didn't dig in. Give me the details.
Well, basically, I think that Trump was saying. I was actually arguing with myself in the shower about this one this morning.
Right,
It's funny
okay.
you brought it up because I was thinking, like, in my opinion, that I probably say like my opinion on all this stuff is just like once federal dollars get involved, it's a different ball game. I think in general, and because federal dollars shouldn't be putting their thumb on the scale in any sort of way, right? So if you go, I think the argument was they were saying like these colleges aren't allowed to. It sounded like he was saying they're not allowed to have protests, but if your argument is like these teachers that federal dollars pay can't be organizing protests, and then that's one thing. But if you're saying you have to stop them if they're organizing their own protests, and that's a different thing. Does that make sense?
You should be able to stop students from protesting. That
No,
doesn't
of
make
course
any sense.
not. But then on the other side, I'm like, you shouldn't also be like encouraging it and being involved. You know what I mean?
That's fair.
So that's where I think, but the students being able to protest, you're like, that should be part of their right as an American, right?
100%.
I'll tell you a crazy pulling federal funds story. I used to go to this college when I was more religious called Yeshiva University. It's a small college. Maybe there's 1,000 kids there. And that's if you're an Orthodox Jewish kid and you want to go to the Orthodox Jewish school and study Talmud half the day and be in college in New York. That's where
Sign
you go.
me up.
There you go. Good time, right? So
There's no bras, though.
I'm listening.
A bunch of gay guys started like the gay club there, which what's gayer than wanting to go to the
Montreal
Orthodox
Canadiens,
Jewish school?
fan club?
Yeah, exactly. What's gayer than wanting to go to the Orthodox Jewish school?
You guys are all in the club.
No, at that point you might as well.
You go and you go. I got news for you.
There you go. You might as well have the Bacon Club. It doesn't make sense. You can go anywhere in the world and do this. It's just that like we're doing our own thing over here, which includes that we're keeping a very authentic version of this religion. You can literally go to any other university in the entire country, be as gay as you like. And by the way, you can be gay there as long as you just can't really celebrate it. No one's asking any questions.
You just can't have a club.
Yeah, essentially. And then they lost some lawsuit, and like the university was going to lose federal funding, and they're like, we can't afford
Unless you have your gay club.
Yeah, because it was considered discrimination or something. So the point I'm trying to make is the control that federal funding, like there probably shouldn't be federal funding for universities, and then the extent by which they can then police behavior at the universities is just an overwhelming problem.
So I guess your point is sort of like, if there is federal funds, it's going to be used as leverage one way or the other always, so the only answer is to not have them, kind of?
Yeah, essentially, yeah. Now, the problem with the...
Otherwise, you can just pick a side and complain when it's not there.
Well, that's what happened with congestion pricing. That's the only reason why Trump could pause congestion pricing is because they took federal highway funds to start it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's the same shit.
Or you need some like separate standard that we give funds to universities as long as they meet blank criteria, but then government's not allowed to... But that doesn't really work. I'm curious on the protesting thing because I think it had a fake kicker. And when I say by fake kicker, it's like reasonable gun control. Well, what constitutes reasonable?
Yeah.
That can, you know what I mean? So was there a fake kicker on the
I actually
student
don't
protest? I think there was.
I was kind of thinking about this more broadly because I was even thinking about like in Canada, like when they had all these kind of...
I think it was violent protests, which still creates... Johnny, maybe you can look it up. Well, that's the other thing is if things are illegal, then it should just, like you were saying...
Yeah, those are already crimes. Right. You don't need a new law. Like,
agreed.
Yeah, it's like if property damage is already illegal, you should be arresting those people and trying.
So what was Charlie Kirk saying?
He was like saying it's good that they can't wear masks and to get rid of all these protests on college campuses. And I was just like, you're a fucking dickhead. Just fucking lower the costs of things and stop the wars.
And there's also, I agree.
That's what we wanted.
There's also another part of it where you're just like, that's what happens on college campuses. People are, 20-year-olds protest. Like, get used to it.
Go to a trade school, asshole. Like, it's like, enough.
Yeah, I think that's probably a downhill battle because it's an uphill battle to probably say no protesting on campus. Mm-hmm. But the only thing I was just like, you don't need the faculty getting involved in organizing them and everything.
Well, it is also this weird thing when everybody, like, there is like a right-wing thing where it's just like, all these college professors are liberal, blah, blah, blah. I was like, all right, like, tell the Cato Institute to start a fucking college. Like, what do you, like, you guys are the free market guys. Create the fucking market for it. Like, and have everybody there.
Yeah, that's what Austin University is.
Austin University?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah, or Texas University, is it called?
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
U of Austin?
UT?
They started a university that's supposed to be that. Mm-hmm. So that is kind of starting to happen, it seems like. Coleman Hughes is doing...
he's teaching jazz there?
Teaching jazz there.
Yeah.
Dude, we did a gig at Texas A&M once. We didn't get to hang out and party, but it was just cool how massive a college there is in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, it was pretty
Where?
cool.
Texas A&M.
Yeah, I think it was when we were all in Austin at the same time. We went and did that gig one day.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I had a conference room sold out with 8 kids.
It was a guaranteed pay. Who gives a shit? And me and Dean Stanville were just people were giving us horrified looks because we were shotgunning beers in the
Oh
parking
my god,
lot
it was like we were expecting college party, and then him and Dean walk in with a case of beers on what's like like we're cutting through the library and the cafeteria, and everyone's like, you're not allowed, like the student organizer was like, beers, you're not allowed to have beers, and they're like, fuck you, mom, we're here to rage.
You guys are on your Van Wilder thing?
Well, we were just like, we're at a college, we could have beer with us, and we're also adult men. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like we're allowed to have beer at a comedy gig.
You and Dean are a tough bunch to be like, you can't have beers too.
Yeah, this is and then we sat in the parking lot shotgunning beers, and people just looked at us like we were insane.
You thought you were walking into a keg party and you were doing like the Dork Club?
I literally thought we were just gonna go do a gig and have some beers to drink while we were waiting, like doing this gig.
Yeah, they weren't doing like beer pong, and it wasn't like college frat drinking. It was just old man alcoholic. Here's my beers.
yeah, exactly. That's all it was.
Yeah. You're like, what, do you want me to start shivering up while I'm doing a set here? Like, this is dad's medicine.
Yeah, so it wasn't a college party. You guys were essentially doing like a sanctioned
like a libertarian
university club event. Yeah. Don't party as much as you think. Yeah. Hey, I kind of don't remember this story, and you guys are American, so you probably remember it better. But like, have you seen
9/11?
Yeah, 9/11. 7-Eleven. Have you seen that? What's been going on with them?
Yeah,
they're everywhere. The guys hold the doors open for you, and they demand money.
It's real big around here.
Oh, it's huge around here, man. It's the craziest gig. I wonder how good those guys do. Yeah. But Casey Anthony's a TikTok star now.
I saw that, yeah.
Which is like fucking hilarious.
Dude, I had an early joke, and I think it still works. I mean, I did this at open
she's
mics.
Back. Casey Anthony's back in the news.
My joke was, I would date her because I think she's hot, and you know that if you get her pregnant, she won't keep the baby. Not bad. That was an early open mic joke.
Yeah, and she is hot.
It is
still looks okay.
Did she look okay?
Wait, I had a good tweet on that one. I was like, she shot at a weird angle, almost the angle of a baby looking up through a pool.
Like she was like OJ style, where it was like guilty with not a shadow of a doubt.
I don't remember the details on how or why she got off about it, but
I was kind of looking it up, and
she's wait. Can I? I'm sorry. I just.
Yeah.
She's 4 years too late on trying to play. Oh, I'm going to be a woke advocate.
She is a little.
I mean,
late
how much
on
of a fucking dumbass are you that you're returning to the market now? Trying to get like public favor being a woke advocate? Read the room.
I will. Yeah. I'll go a little bit the other way on that one, because there's been ever a better time for psycho villains on the internet. Like, you know, like the bad babies of the world, like the JJ Lieberman yelling, screaming into his camera. Like, this is a really good time for freaks yelling into their camera that everyone hates.
It feels like she's picking up the OJ Twitter mantle of, I will just pretend like I'm a normal person, same as you, with opinions, and just give my opinions as if I'm not a murderer.
Nancy Kerrigan came out of the woodwork recently.
Really? What was that one? I don't remember.
The figure skater.
Yeah, she
smashed the leg.
Yeah.
Yeah, someone needs to bring back that, like the VH1 shows where they used to shove all these people in
Surreal Life and shit like that.
Yeah, with the villains of the internet.
Yeah. But it does feel like all of the people that, you're right, probably would have been, you know, every now and then on like a documentary about them. They have their own channel and people hate watch them. And I think it's like a cash cow for people.
Interesting.
It's got to be.
So and apparently, she said she's like a legal active, and you are right. She's doing very 2017-ish shit. Yeah, which maybe is making a little bit of a comeback.
What is her cause? She's just anti-Trump.
That's basically it.
I believe I'm trying to remember the exact details of the case. So
As a lady who didn't get an abortion and had to do it really late, let me tell you about the horrors of being forced to bring your child to. Sorry, I totally cut you off.
Yeah, she's a good abortion activist.
It turns out Planned Parenthood didn't work that well for me, but I hope it can work well for you. No, but I think it was the kid was missing, and she like went out for a couple of days and didn't
of months.
It was and then she reported the kid missing, and then the kid was dead, and it was just like, well, you killed this kid.
The grandmother apparently reported the kid because she was saying oh, the kid's somewhere like with a nanny, and then the grandmother started to get suspicious.
Yeah, I would probably do that as well.
It was like a cut and dry case, and somehow she got off on it.
Yeah. I mean, do you remember the video of her getting off and how fuckable she looked in that moment?
Yeah.
Not really. I don't remember any
by
of this
the way,
stuff.
It's a GIF. You can find a GIF.
It was totally unnecessary because this was still at a time in this country that you could sell kids to Epstein. So
Yeah, it's
Exactly.
true,
yeah. Why are you drowning it in a bathtub?
Could've made a couple bucks.
Yeah, that's a living child.
Well, don't talk. Any day now that files are going to be coming out.
Yeah, I don't think. All right. Firstly, it's just that Kash Patel has been so pro-Israel. I just don't see. Also, the files
That was
are
the
Cash?
weirdest fucking launch ever, man. That Epstein file release.
Yeah.
Where
So
the people
weird.
went there and get the binders. I was just like, what are we doing, boys?
binders with information that we already have.
Binders full of men.
Yeah,
Binders with
that's funny.
no information.
Yeah, and then also it's like it's the wrong. If I was a investigator, my starting point would be firstly, I would bring in front of cameras, maybe in front of Congress. Firstly, who took the safe out of his building, and what does that mean that the FBI lost it? And I would go through the chain of command of who received that safe until finally someone's responsible for it. What do you mean it's gone? The next thing I would do, and I would parade all these people in front of television cameras, is who made the phone call and said, hey, that guy's an intelligence asset? Who were the people that put together the sweetheart deals when he was initially arrested? Who were all those agents? Why? Who made that phone call? And then I bring that guy in. Why did you make this phone call?
Whoever was the Florida AG at the time should be testifying about it, right? Like,
so I'm just saying, like, there's a lot of really good leads of what was going on here. Who was on and off planes? Because listen, I'm not fucking any kids. If you told me, hey, the elites are going down to this island, we wanted to bring a comic with us, what's the pay? You know what I mean? Not everyone that went to that island or was involved with Epstein, I think, was, if you went to an Epstein, a P. Diddy party, it could be you're like, fuck yeah, I got invited to a P. Diddy party.
Yeah, you'd be like pretty hyped.
Yeah, I'm sure that there are some people that were like, oh, I'm just going to the after party. Believe me, you don't need to go to the early party.
And after the party.
So just from the outset, it seemed like she was talking about the wrong details if you were looking to actually expose the scandal. And then just based off of, I think Kash Patel is better than the old guard. And I think when it comes to domestic policy and freedom of speech on the internet and not just trying to undermine Trump and not having domestic terrorists, there's a lot of things he's really good on. Israel's not one of them.
And this is so tied into Israel.
I mean, that's the best conspiracy, if you want to call it conspiracy theory, that's the best working theory that we all have, is that he was intelligence assets for the Mossad. Do we really think that Kash Patel is going to be the guy that wants to unwind that storyline? Or that Donald Trump, who seems to be getting Netanyahu's back as much as anyone else?
So why do it then? Why, what was this then? You know what I mean? Why pretend that you're going to do it, like, and have everyone talk about it more? Like, why not just kind of be like, yeah, anytime people ask about it, be like, yeah, for sure, we're on it, like, and just kind of leave it murky. Why try to be like, it's happening today, just so everyone can be like, what the fuck?
It was a real Bush on the aircraft carrier moment. You know what I mean?
What was that?
George Bush parachuted onto an aircraft carrier and they unleashed a banner that said "Mission accomplished," and then we were at war with Iraq for another 20 years. You know?
I see. I've been joking around that it's clickbait presidency, and so Donald Trump just teases these things and then doesn't give you the information.
That's so funny.
Yeah, and so that's what this one felt like.
That's really funny. It is clickbait presidency.
It's just a slideshow of nothing.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
New York Post like headlines, and then you go in and they're like, "You'll never guess who was on the Epstein list," and you click, and they're just like, "Either have we." Like we're so, yeah.
Dude, I miss the days when they were trying to get you to buy a physical paper with a pun, just a solid headless man found in topless bar. Like, let's go.
And the Mike Recine article still had a no laughing matter.
Pam Bondi, firstly, she also had this wild mover. She was on Fox and she goes, if you guys had seen what I'd seen, you'd be horrified and we're going to get it all out.
Well, you're on national news, asshole.
And then 2 days later, she releases the information that we already had. So it seems to me like she either didn't look at the information that they gave to her, or she's also involved in not actually looking into this.
Remember we did a show when they dropped like some Epstein files and like we were kind of talking about the amount of people that work in government who were just hitting Control F and looking for names that they knew would get retweets, and it would be like Trump was named in the Epstein files, and it was just like, did you ever see Mr. Trump when you were at his casino? No.
Right.
Like, and that was like, well, seems like that was a public casino that they all went to, and they doesn't mention.
Pam Bondi, weird 65-year-old lady, because in some lighting you're like, wow, you still got it. And then
She looks like
other...
the chick from Seinfeld that in some lighting is hot and some lighting she's a Two-Face.
She kind of looks like a Two-Face. She kind of looks like that actress who is the wheelchair lady in Freddy Got Fingered. She'd been in a bunch of movies.
Yeah.
She kind of looks like her in good lighting, and then in bad lighting, you're like, man, it looks like this looks like Face Off.
Actually, do either of you guys stay for another 45 to do the Patreon?
Yeah, I'm down.
I'm down.
You're down?
Yeah. I need a.
Let's take a break.
Yeah.
Okay, follow us over patreon.com/theboyscast. Thank you. Oh yeah, promote anything that we got. You both have specials.
Yeah. Chris Faga, Burn After Saying. It's on the High Society Radio YouTube channel where you can find my podcast. Go over there. And at Chris from BKLYN on Twitter and Instagram. You can see me reply guy to everybody I think is a dickhead.
There you go. Robbie the Fire, all one word, on all social media platforms. I got my podcast, the Run Your Mouth podcast. You can get my political analysis, my fake news jokes, and then also put out a special live from the Denver Comedy Garage, not an actual place, on that channel, and rolling out some more sketches. So go follow. Robbie the Fire.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing them sketches.
There you go.
Okay, see you on the other side.